Let's see. Welcome to the stream. Hello, can you hear me? Now everything's broken.
No, it's fine. Can you hear us? That was
just
awesome.
me. That was just me trying my new PianoTeq. Let me just stop sharing. It's actually quite awesome. Yeah, I can't stop playing with this. I got it. Guess when I got that?
Today?
Cyber Monday, of course. Cheapskate. So let me just stop sharing for a moment so we see who is there. Hi. Oh, I have my camera on as well, as usual. Okay, so we got Carlos Castrejo. Hello.
Hello.
We got. I'll just read them left to right. We got Free Press Kekistan.
What's up, guys?
And we got Lana Lacious, who is very sick at the moment, so she's dying.
Hi. I'll be hiding in the chat for most of this.
Yeah, do we have anybody on the chat yet? I felt really bad.
We do. We
this
have
morning...
Steele and Davey.
Davey, yeah, my man, and Stargazer. Yeah, he was there in the morning, my morning. And I had rescheduled yesterday evening, but I don't know, Google didn't save it or something. And then I thought, oh yeah, it's fine, I have plenty of time, sleep in, even watch the Rick and Morty episode. And then I get up and I get a message from Tailed Feature. Yeah, you better switch it off. There's lots of people waiting in the chat. Well, probably two.
I'm going to be the most hated person probably ever. I hate Rick and Morty.
Yeah? Oh, it's okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's like a virus, you watch one or two and then it starts to infect you or whatever,
I've seen 3 or 4 and I prefer cow and chicken, for example.
Cow and chicken.
Yeah,
that's that one.
And that cat and dog one.
Oh, we got
Hello.
This is my friend.
Yeah. So.
Hi, who's this?
This is my friend. I thought you might be able to talk about music and stuff because
That's cool.
He does he's done some parodies with me. So.
Okay, Flavian, is it?
Yes.
Hi, nice to meet you.
How are you, man?
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
So you're, I see your icon has it's like a keyboard thing. So you're a musician as well.
Yeah. I play keyboard, my main instrument. I sing a lot too. I'm a shitty bass player and guitar player, but
it's good. It's all good. It's great. I'm a shitty non-guitar player.
Yeah, well, that's most people are. I mean, I know a lot of great guitar players, so it's not a big deal.
That's great.
If I need a solo, I know a lot of people that can ask. So
that's brilliant. You know, I was thinking of building up. Like the more I do on YouTube, the more I collaborate. I kind of build up a database of people, you know, who I can work with. But let me get to FreePress first because he hasn't been on the stream, at least on this stream. With me, and I'll get to you as well. But I just wanted to bring back what we've done together, and I think one of them songs FreePress wasn't that the last? Which one was it?
Billy Joel, was it?
Hmm?
Was it Billy Joel is the artist?
Oh yeah, the Billy Joel. Yeah, right. Yeah, with R.A.P.E. I sent him an invite as well. So he might come, I don't know. I sent him the hangout. And he was complaining that it's an American unfriendly time, obviously, when I usually stream in the morning because it's Australia friendly, kind of. It's my morning and Lana's evening. Now it's the other way around. And that was Billy Joel. And there I would have really needed a good guitar player. So I didn't have one. It's all these arpeggios, you know, up and down. Very busy piece.
Well, it's funny because on the first collab we did with FreePress, it was the presidents of the USA, his Trump parody.
Lump.
Instead of Lump, yeah. And at the end, he played a clip of a video on my channel. And it's but the clip he played, it's like it's a guest guitar player that does this fucking awesome shredding solo. So it's cool. Like people might think that I'm an awesome guitar player because they're like, oh, there's this guy channel. Oh my god, he can play like a god. And it's like, no, it's a friend of mine.
Who cares?
So, right? But it's funny because
I didn't know that.
Now people
now you know
spread like that, but no, I cannot. But he looks like me, so that's funny. So as long as in the goatee.
FreePress, can you link the video in the chat? I don't know if I'm familiar with it.
Yeah,
if you can find it, that'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, I think that when you're producing music, you know, when you're making music, or let's say recording, mixing, whatever you may call it, right? Producing, making, creating music, that's the word, for YouTube, then you basically learn it's not just about playing the instrument, you know, you're going away from that, I'm a musician. You're actually becoming a producer because you have to pull everybody under the, you know, everybody who collaborate with, and even the videographer, you have to pull them all under this umbrella and tell, okay, you're going to play this, you're going to sing this. And then you obviously have to make decisions like, I'm going to cut that note now, it's a bit off, you know. Let me see. Open link in YouTube. Let me see if I can I share that a little bit? Can I share that?
You can play it on the stream, it's fine.
Okay, that's great. I just wanted to make sure. Not that it's... Let me see if
you might get flagged, you know, copyright.
Who cares? Okay, it was more if you mind it, you know, probably just gonna play the first verse to see. But let's see if I can... let me see if I can get the sound working. Can you hear this? Yeah. Did you hear that?
Nope. Just
no. You need to fix it.
Okay then. Okay. That's fine.
A bit probably bleeding from your headphones or microphone.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. 1 second.
You should see our latest video, by the way. It's freaking epic.
We can play a bit of that as well if you want.
It's got a very long build up, but it's worth it in my opinion.
So voice meter aux is...
You do quite a lot of really good videos though, so I don't think anything I've seen from your channel is bad.
Some of the older ones, maybe.
Doesn't everyone say that about all their older stuff though? Nobody ever looks at their first video and goes, that was quality.
Okay, my newest video always are the same as my oldest ones. Complete chaos.
And the fans are saying the opposite. They're like, no, you're set out now. I prefer the old stuff.
Guys, if I switch this on, are you echoing if I switch this on?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just see if we get the sound anyway. And then switch. Yeah, that should work.
Yeah, it does.
His tweets are huge. Trans tweet a feed could start a war if he spoke his mind and seconds father is a whore. Blue check marks swarm his tweets like nuts. Cause Trump wants some saying was he out on his stats. He's Trump, he wants a war. He's Trump, he's Trump, he's Trump. His hands are small.
Let's say China. China because China. You have some keys.
He loves to coin on your phrases bigly, but he's just a Nazi according to Trickley. He's Trump, kids can't turn lists. He's Trump, he's Trump, he's Trump, celebs are pissed. Easy bags, I go as fuck, I think so. He's content, bitter as fuck, I think so. He's my girl, pins from the strike, I think so. Are we all in for two scoops?
That's rad. That's very good.
That is bloody awesome.
And if so if you play the video, then you have the guitar solo I was talking about that I can absolutely not play.
It's at the end. It's at the end.
It's at the end. You should just continue the video.
Oh, I'd keep continuing. Okay,
yeah.
I'll do that. Let me just break this out because I want to see the chat as well. I'm just gonna break this out like this now. Okay, let's see. Okay, wait, sorry. No. Oh my god. Wow.
All you can see in the chat is Carlos's face.
Oh, you're not present.
Oh, am I not? Oh, sorry. Okay, wait. Yeah, I stopped presenting. This is like a fucking like flying a rocket ship now. I'll show that again. Hide. No, I thought I was sharing. Okay. Google Hangouts is sharing. Whatever.
Some of the people in the chat have been saying that they can't see the full vid and they can't see it either, except in your little thumbnail.
Okay, wait.
God, I sound like shit.
It's echoing very bad.
Okay, now let's see. What the fuck? Save. I said you're screen sharing and presenting to everyone. Okay, let's just try that again. Stop or just share it again. Share. I hope they saw the first part of the video at least. Share. Okay, can you guys see that now? Present to everyone. Let's try this. Now?
Yeah.
How's now? Corbin. Okay, I just want to show that video again because... Oh, I need to show that as well. Wait. You got that...
Just waiting for the chat to catch up.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Can you guys see the t-shirts? Everybody buy those t-shirts. You got the shilling down to a fine art. I don't know if you saw there was a really big hangout with Coach R.A.P.E, Mr. Metacore, what's her name? Aiden Paladin, number of other people, and they were basically shit talking about Crowd and Tea, but they were also shit talking about the fact that the skeptic community, in inverted commas, are quite good at paying stuff. You see it in Kilroy again. They've almost managed to raise I think $89,000 for the thing. So there's some people with deep pockets. Well, I just had to think of that when I saw these T-shirts. Communist Soviet parody. These green flags, are they kind of Kekistani flags, or what are they? This on the top left.
It's the hammer and sickle was replaced with the Kek logo.
Okay, it's so small, it's hard to see.
Yeah.
I like the Oppression Olympics one though. That's kind of cool. The 5 colors. Okay,
I made that logo for like a video, and I thought it was a cool logo. So
it is cool. It's definitely cool. It's funny. I just wanted to show this snippet. Can the chat see see it now? Yeah. I'm
Yes.
Still haven't. Okay, cool. I just wanted to share this bit because it's one of those. Is that from another video? Fabian. I'm sorry, Flavian. Is that from a different song? Obviously.
Oh yeah, the bit at the end. Yeah, it's one of my videos. It's a cover from Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, cool.
The,
I'll just play the snippet because I want the chat. I want the stream to see it. It's cool.
Nice.
Too much advertisements going on there. That's so cool. I have to watch that as well. That's really good. I'm not a particularly great fan. I mean, Final Fantasy is probably different, but of like, there's a lot of chip music out there. But I like the orchestral stuff, and obviously those metal covers as well. They're great. They're always great.
Yeah,
So,
that's mainly what I do on my channel. It's
very cool. So you played the keyboards there. So you were probably let's see that.
Yeah,
you were the hands up there.
Yeah, I play the. It's also me on the bass.
Ah,
but
cool.
it's not very. I mean, it's not very complicated. So yeah,
There's a pretty significant echo going on.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'll switch it off again. It's just.
Yeah.
Second. No. Should be fine now.
Yeah, it's not you. It's Raven set up.
It's
we always
setup.
blame him.
I don't know. I haven't figured this out fully with I have new hardware, and I know that the Windows sound comes over this, but I haven't figured it. I have unfigured it. I need to find out. Anyway, at least I can share my piano. That's the main thing. Sorry, I was interrupting you, Flavian.
No problem. Yeah. It's on the drums. It's a friend of mine because also I cannot play drums, but I'm on keyboard, bass. But yeah, for really I can play rhythm guitars for some relatively basic stuff. But there was a big chunk of the music that was kind of empty. So I thought, that might be cool to have a guitar solo there. So since I know a guy who plays extremely, and I mean really extremely well, I was like, hey, you would like to do a solo? And he basically improvised it. And later, when I just recorded the thing because it was for a compilation, a Final Fantasy VIII compilation where you got one musician doing one different person doing one cover for each song in the game. So and later I was like, hey, that would make a nice video. I have the music already done. I just have to film everything. And I was like, hey, it would be cool if you film your guitar part. And he was like, oh, I don't remember what I played. So I filmed it again, and it's like, like no effort for him.
Cool. So did he replay? Did you watch? I don't know if you can see that, but did he replay the solo note for note, or basically lip syncing? No, finger syncing it.
Yeah, that's basically what he did. So maybe there's one or two notes that are not there, but like nobody's gonna see that. So yeah, he's playing in a technical death metal band called Fractal Universe. And they just released a music video yesterday, actually. It's that really cool, like Tool-esque music video with weird 3D graphics. but it looks like it's in 3D, but it looks like how do you call that? Like frame by frame animation.
Oh rotoscope, is it?
Stop motion.
Yeah, not really. Rotoscope is when you draw over film. Like in the 1970s, Lord of the Rings. No, it's more. It's hard to explain, but yeah, no, it's more like frame by frame photography with puppets and stuff like that. The stuff that kind of looks creepy, and because usually 3D stuff looks too clean. And what they used lower frame rates, and they kind of used filters over the image to make it look a bit dirty, a bit rough. So yeah, the music video looks really cool, and it's on the song from the first album that I produced, and I mixed and mastered. So.
Oh, cool! You're ahead of me. I haven't done any albums yet. Yeah, I've just learned for the last year, But it's really interesting. It's really interesting. What do you record with? What's your DAW? Let's bore everybody.
What? What do I?
Let's bore everybody. What's your DAW?
Oh yeah, I use Cubase 8.
Oh, cool! All right, so you're a Cubase man as well, so we're compatible. We can exchange projects then.
Yeah, I got a lot of guys who are like, yeah, if you don't use Pro Tools, you're an amateur. But I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit. I only care about the results. And at the end of the day,
it's
I can
complete
use
rubbish.
Yeah, and honestly, it's like I'd rather have. If I was in a band, knowing what I know now, I'd rather hire a very competent guy with shitty gear than the other way around.
Oh yeah, but Cubase. I mean, you can't even say shitty. I mean, Cubase has. I'm sorry, but Cubase has caught up so much with Pro Tools over the last 2-3 years. I'm on 9.5 now. I've always updated it, and man, I mean, Pro Tools is kind of behind now. To be honest, it's just everybody uses Pro Tools because they're fucking used to it.
Well, yeah, that's also a big part of it. It's like when you first of all, it's a great asset to use a DAW that you're really used to and you can be efficient with, because that's the biggest thing is the time constraints. It's like sometimes some complex mixes you spend hundreds of hours on it, and yeah, so far I haven't felt any big limitations on Cubase. I mean, I've had the most complex stuff I've worked on. It's for my band's second album. There was a song where I had 192 tracks.
Wow.
Because there was a core that we recorded, and there was like 4 different singers for each.
You mean a choir, is it?
Yeah, a choir. Sorry.
Yeah.
And there were like, I don't know, almost 100 tracks just for that, because we used overlays, because we didn't have a 50-person choir. So.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
we recorded.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so we had to do a lot of different takes and make a lot of overdubs. And
you know what you should
worked really well.
You know what you should check out? You should check out Jacob Collier, right? He's I don't know if you know him. He's a young jazz composer, musician, and he does these one-man shows, where he plays his voice to kind of vocoder, and he plays keyboards like a god, and everything that has strings like a god, so he's basically complete god of this, and he has I think 4 octaves of voice range. So he does these things. He did 2 of them so far. They're called I Harm You, which means I harmonize you. And that's how he financed his first album. He let people send him an a cappella piece, short piece, 20 seconds song or 15 seconds song, and he'll harmonize it. And the last 2 he did live, and he just whack on these really weird jazz chords, and then he just sing them, and he generally quadruple tracks his voice. So he'd sing a phrase, he'd sing one note of the chord, and it would be a jazz chord. So the jazz chord would be, maybe have 4, 5, 6 different notes, and every note he'd sing, or every phrase he'd sing 4 times, so you get this fat sound, and it's kind of penned, hard left, -18, +18, hard right, and he'd sing it 4 times, and he has absolute pitch as well, so he always starts with, "Oh yeah, your song is a little bit low. That's great. I mean, 440 hertz is overrated anyway. I think you sang it at 432, but at the end you drop by another 20 cent, and so he kind of goes along with it, and he sings it lower than, it's just amazing, it's just amazing. And you can see at the end he's just vocal tracks, about 60 or 70 vocal tracks on top of each other, this big wall of sounds. But you need really, really good like perfect sounding gear for it, because if you have any hum or any shit anything in it, it'll just add up. It just builds up endlessly. You get 60 times. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, Lana is 6, Steel Rain. I'm sorry, she's a bad flu, and it's so cold, and it's winter in Australia right now. Oh no, I think I got that wrong.
No, it's summer.
Summer. It's winter.
We've been having a lot of 35 to 40 degree weather, and so we've been sleeping with the fan on because it's so hot at night. And unfortunately, sometimes the temperature drops significantly in the middle of the night, and you're asleep, and of course you've got the fan on, and you get too cold. And I caught a chill yesterday.
That's good.
And then it's turned into a full-blown cold today. It's not fun to celebrate my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy birthday. I mean, it's a day late, right? It's over.
It seems unlikely to catch a cold in Australia in summer, but
if anyone could do it, it'd be me.
Oh no, you get the worst colds and flus in summer than winter. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, especially using fans can, you can quickly catch.
Well,
unfortunately, I tend to catch everything, and I work with kids with disabilities who the parents send them to school when they're like all green crap running down their face, and then they touch you all the time, and they like sneeze in your face, and they've got no concept of boundaries. So you walk out of there, and it's like a germ factory from the top of your head to your feet.
Our health workers and our elderly, and not just elderly, many people, we get the flu vaccine. We demand it.
Somebody's practicing. Who's practicing?
I'm sorry, I didn't think you could hear it.
I got good ears. You just have to turn it up.
Yeah. Just going to say, we in Portugal, we demand our flu vaccines, our vaccines. I know in Australia there's a small growing movement of anti-vaxxers, which is really bad. Yeah.
I could join in. The thing with the piano, with the music live, you can't actually, I don't know if the chat knows that, but you can't actually play together over the internet because of latency. So if I was going to play along with Flavian, it wouldn't be at the same time.
Yeah.
I'd join in with him, and I'd be a second late, and then he would hear it as 2 seconds later. But there is actually a thing, and I'm still sharing my screen. There is a thing in Cubase. It's called VST Connect, and you can connect to another PC. They download a little bit, not the whole Cubase, just a little software client, and you can record them like remote, basically, but in good quality. So, but you can't jam together. Again, latency, but you can record them. So that's kind of cool,
Yeah, I've never used that. Have you ever tried it?
I've tried it. It's cool, but the problem is I had some problems that I didn't do my routing of my microphone right, so I got latency on my microphone. I got an echo, and I couldn't figure out how to turn off the echo so that the other side could hear me, but that I wouldn't hear my echo. So that was kind of annoying, But I'll try it again. We should try it again. We should try it at some stage. Anyway, the thing about Cubase as well is I don't know if you have Cubase Pro. Do you have Cubase Pro or just Artist?
No, I have the Cubase Pro.
Yeah, the thing about Cubase Pro, there's so much what's built in. For instance, is pitch correction. That's something that you don't get with Pro Tools. You have to get a third-party product, stuff like that.
The Vari Audio is Cubase is really great, and I use it a lot of the time. Not necessarily to pitch, because I don't like to. I mean, personally, it's like no, fuck, I feel bad if I have to use it, so I'd rather do another take until my voice is right. But it's a great tool for analyzing what's wrong in your take. It's like, especially complex musical phrase that you have to sing, and it's like, is this note in the middle is just too sharp or too or too flat, because sometimes it's hard to hear exactly what's wrong.
But
so
it can actually mislead you as well. I felt like I use pitch correct quite a lot, but for my singers, whatever, because I'm not vain. I just want it to sound great. It doesn't really matter. And then if you get a vocal sent, you don't necessarily want to say, well, it's flat. Can you sing it again? And then maybe it's sharp, and then you have to sing it again. And it kind of gets sent back and forth. So I just use pitch correct a lot. Sorry, Lana. And
yes, I mean, sometimes
I have a problem with that. I know I'm pitchy.
Sometimes the performance can have the right pitch,
not
but the voice doesn't sound good. But the intonation or the inflections aren't right. Sometimes performance sounds great, except it's a little So you'd rather have a great performance than have exact pitch accuracy. But for me as a singer, it's great because I can immediately see what's wrong, and I can do it again and again, and so it greatly helps for me.
You should definitely watch The Last I Harm You, because what he said, like Jacob said, that the piano is wrong anyway, and he demonstrated it. He showed chords. So basically, what he said is that this major third. Yeah, that's actually the third is, I think, 21 cents or something, or maybe 18 cents too high.
Oh yeah, it's not
the minor third. The minor third, the flat 3 is too low. It's you have to raise it by 13 cents.
Yes, because in Western music, we use equal temperament.
Yeah,
which
and that's
is
no good.
Which is absolutely awesome, because it allows you to play these complex chords and have all the key changes in the world you want. But the price to pay is that the intervals are not exact. So the actual major third should be a little sharper. For example,
it's flat. It's what he showed. I think the major third should be flat and the minor third should be sharp. He demonstrated it in that last I Harm You, and he actually showed it. But the worst one was the flat 7. That one. That one is so out. It's actually 31 cents too sharp. So he tuned it down by 31 cents. And just to explain to the stream, 100 cents is the difference between a half note, a semi. That's 100 cents. There's 100 cents between those two notes. Well, I better bring that keyboard on, then you can see it. So let's say between the E and the F, that's 100 cents, and the guy can actually hear like 5 cents or 2 cents. He showed actually. He played back. A 12-year-old had sent him this vocal, and it was amazing, just amazing. And he listened to it, and he found out where it was wrong. But anyway, he was working for it, and he put it to compression to make it louder, and you could hear a hum in the background. He said, "Oh yeah, wait, there's a hum. It's exactly at A flat. How many hertz is that?" And he said, "Don't tell me." And he calculated it in his head. I think it was 412 or 420 something. So he said, "Yeah, but it's not the middle A flat. It's actually the lower A flat." He didn't use he did it all in his head, and he just went to equalizer, what you use when you want to remove frequencies. No, just explaining to the stream. I know you know, but so you go to a frequency and then you eliminate it. You just I can actually demonstrate that, because I might as well go full on. So if I have let's say I have a track and I want to get rid of. Oh, let's take Lana actually. I have a vocal from Lana that she sent to me today.
No,
it's okay.
It's really rough and crap.
It's okay. Don't worry.
I just threw it in there for timing.
So let's say you have this EQ, right? Let's go and You know what? Let's go for an isotope EQ because that's you can kind of see what's going on there. Isotope.
I wasn't even trying to hit any of the notes. It's
Yeah,
really
don't worry.
bad.
I'm just showing the general idea of it, right? So let's say. Okay, I have to mute this for a moment. I'm just gonna put that chord track on that I made myself. No, why are you not singing? All right, there it is. Okay, I can't hear it though for some reason. Let's see. Can't hear. I think I must have muted that on the mixer. Pretty sure. Let's just unsolo everything. Come on, play. That's interesting. I can't get you at all. You're lucky. She's a lucky guy. Yay. Let's see. I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Maybe. Did I turn it down? No. Okay. That's kind of weird. Well, it's there. I just don't hear it. Okay.
Maybe there's a problem on the stereo bus. Maybe it's muted or.
Yeah, I thought shouldn't. It goes to vocal. There. No. Okay, that's interesting. Goes to lead, Lana lead. There it is. I don't know why that's not unmuting. Okay, now there, but still not doing anything. It's a pity because I kind of. Oh, there it is. Okay, I think it might be latency.
Repulsed your gaze has ravished me.
Okay, that's a little bit mean. Let's add the piano because otherwise you.
Again, I wasn't trying very hard. I was just trying to get the timing.
Your gaze has ravished me.
Anyway, chat. If you can see those little those kind of hills or mountains, and when they go to the right, that's higher, and go to the left, that's bass. You know?
Repulsed your gaze.
So there's a really low note there, and it's too low for you, Lana. We might have to transcribe it, or maybe you sing it an octave higher. But that's this. Okay, I want one of those, right? So if I go to that, just this one note, right?
Repulsed your gaze has
the ra, that one's nice.
ravished me. Repulsed your gaze has
Okay, there it is. Just this one note. There. Okay, here we go. Okay, now I can go and get rid of that. Now there's overtones as well, so I need to do more. I need to get another one there. And you only hear the overtones, you know. But that's basically what you do. You make a little notch there. Now it probably goes through a plugin as well, so that's why. But the thing is, you can get rid of frequencies like that and completely get rid of them. Probably should have shown with a piano note or something. And he had figured out that the hum of the fan that he could hear through the microphone in his head, he made the calculation and said, it's 416 hertz, but it's an octave lower, so it's 207 hertz. And he just put it there. He entered the frequency, you know, 207, bang. He turned it up first to see if it was ringing. That's what you usually do when you have a bad frequency. You just turn it up and it goes woo, you know, like a feedback. And then he turned it down and it was gone. It was just boom there, and he didn't have to adjust anything. He just knew the number. So you should definitely check him out. It's amazing. Yeah, that's the track I'm working on with Lana. So just to give you a little bit of on the last hangout. The chat was throwing around some ideas, and we figured it would be.
They were filthy, absolutely yes. Beautifully filthy.
Yeah,
I had to do a cleaner version for YouTube, and then I'll do the filthy version.
We'll do a filthy version as well
later.
We'll put that filthy version on the album. No, we can't do that. But what we'll do is. We'll put the filthy version on the album, but it's a the recordings from Frank Sinatra, but I don't know who wrote it actually. It's called LOVE, and we thought the chat thought it was a good idea to make it R.A.P.E. So I'll give you a quick preview, but I haven't got any drums on it yet. So it's just a chord track.
Has ravished me. Aghast, you're then approaches me. P is penetrating this private space I'm claiming.
Oh shit!
E, the word evoked when you opened your mouth and spoke, and rape another rapist too.
It's not bad, you know, Lana.
What? She's being harassed.
Shit, I keep forgetting to switch off this loop. I just turn around there.
Hashtag me too. You don't understand it. Just believe me when I branded rape. Trust me when I blame you.
And then there's all these key changes. So I figured out the chords today. That's all I could do today because I was too busy, you know, with plugins and all that. But it's very nice little tune, tasty, and I like swing. I do. I'm kind of old school like that. I couldn't really deal with.
I just want to say those harmonics that the beginning of them. Oh man,
it's amazing, isn't it?
Oh. I may not have talent in playing or anything in music, but I have an ear.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just, you know, the chords are probably a lot more complicated than the way that I put them down, you know. Oh, where is it? There's the PianoTeq. That's the... So it's a G, A, and D, and then, but it goes through all these kind of tensions, we call them, the kind of extra chords, extra notes in the chord, and it's so subtle. It's really nice, and then it goes through two key changes. Now, normally, like when you have bad composers, then you have a key change. You know, on all the German schlagers, the German hit singles, you'd have a song and it has the usual 3 chords, you know, and maybe 4 chords, whatever. And then halfway through the song, it'll go up one higher, so to lift it, you know, because the composers were shit. So you just lift it, and then oh yeah, it's fresh now. It sounds fresh. But this one is really quite sophisticated, and it doesn't go up by. It goes up by a semi. I think in the solo, and then at the end it goes up another semi, and it's quite interesting. And then at the end it's got some really nice chords. But yeah, we'll have to work on it, chat. Sorry, it's not ready. It takes time, you know. Oh, it takes time.
I'm working on a jazz song now, and it also goes up by a semi at the end. I'm not sure if I can talk about it.
A song by who?
We're doing it for the Free Press of Kekistan.
Oh yeah.
So
you have to ask Free Press if it's classified or not.
So what were you saying?
Wake up!
No, I was distracted by Twitter. Right. Are you talking about the Christmas thing?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I was saying that I'm also working on a jazz thingy right now for.
Let us know.
So yeah, it's Let Us Know by Dean Martin. I mean, I don't know if it's his original song, but we're working on his version. But and it also goes up by one semitone at the end. So, but I studied piano in a music school.
Oh, cool.
And I was all my teachers were jazz players. So
nice.
I was in that
envious.
world for quite some time. But it's funny because it was for me it was quite a new world, but I learned a lot, and I'm really a lot into theory, so I know all that stuff, and my songwriting is a little bit it's quite analytic, I really like to think about things and really know like to see and know all the notes interactions and stuff like that, which sometimes tilts me when I make songs for my band and I basically write everything, and then I hand out that to my musicians, basically my guys and girls. We have a female singer, and sometimes I have an idea and I change stuff, but they don't know anything. They're doing it by ear, and sometimes at first it was a bit tilting because it's like it's easy to be overprotective of your ideas, but with time I learned to accept all the changes and ideas that they could provide, and you learn to be more open-minded and say, hey, this change can actually enhance the music, even though it's your idea and you did everything. Sometimes some external outputs can be beneficial. So then
And the lucky
stuff, and I analyze it back, and I'm like, okay, actually, it's
that
cool.
works as well.
Yeah,
It's these things like where you say, oh yeah, it's a G major 7, but you play a D over it. Yeah, that's fine. It's two notes out of 4. It's not bad, Yeah, but yeah, it's really funny because I'm a really late comer to the game. I mean, I've learned classical piano, but I've never learned the theory. So, and I was playing a little bit of jazz, a lot of rock music, and obviously like a ton of classical. So I'm more of a I'm kind of late to harmony. I was a great Bach fan and Debussy, and now I'm starting. Only this year I've started really to discover. Yeah, exactly. Golliwogg's Cakewalk, very good. But I'm shit at remembering too. But about modes, and man, they're amazing. And there's a couple of channels to follow. There's Rick Beato, and which is really really high level. It's super high level. Like he'd go, oh yeah, here's this mode, and here are the chords you can play on it. Here's this, like, and on every step you got like 3 different.
Yeah, well, it's funny because that's the stuff I'm extremely familiar with. Because I guess my background is actually the other way around you. I was a lot into theory even as a kid because I learned music on a computer. I basically learned music on an Amiga. And I used music software on the Amiga for like 10 years, and when I was 19, I was like, you know what? Now that I know all that stuff, maybe it's time for me to learn an instrument.
The Amiga were amazing.
Oh yeah,
sound,
machines.
Video, everything.
And, yeah.
I miss them. I miss it.
Well, that's why like 90% of the covers I do on my channel are actually from games from the Amiga.
Exactly. EA has gone evil after it left Amiga.
Mm-hmm. What I found is that when you start producing other people's music, or when you start really listening, I mean, I've told this before, but not to you, Flavien, that I only got into covers, you may say, as in parodies, as in playing other people's music, really through my YouTube channel, through doing stuff with Felfop and Lana and others, and you start to get really interested in the way stuff is produced. That's one thing you get started interested in, like how did they make this sound, obviously very deep listening, and what kind of instruments, what kind of effects, what kind of compression were used. But then the other thing is also that you think, oh, that's quite a simple song, it's just a turnaround, it's probably just 3 chords in the verse and in the chorus, and there might be a different key or whatever, and it's very simple, you look at it, and then when you start to deep listen to stuff, like Lana and I did one thing, what's it called, the Mamas and Papas song, Lana, remember?
Raise a couple keks.
Raise a couple keks, yeah, that's one. And you'd think it's quite simple, and you'd start analyzing this stuff, and you think, wow, those chords are really sophisticated. It's just really wow, you think there's not much to it, and the more you go to the past, the more sophisticated they get. It seems to be, and the more you're in the present, the less, with some exceptions, there's really, like if you look look at EDM, it's all very, very simple. It's just like if you look at the harmonies, what I call the vertical, there's very little going on. But then people are working with, they may have an idea that they just change the bass note, or they just use a mode, and so they don't use a major, they use like whatever Phrygian, whatever, some other scale, and that makes it sound fresh. But it makes it so interesting that you don't have a chorus anymore. It's the same 3 chords or the same 4 chords over the whole song. It doesn't change, and you think, why am I not bored? So there's always something you throw in that makes you engages your musical brain or your soul or whatever. And I used to think, like 5 years ago, I used to think it's just all because the singer does all this crazy shit, like Beyonce is all this vocal artistic. You're going up and down the scale and doing all this ooh, ooh, and there's a lot of vocal production, extra effects, extra thick vocals, and then there's the distortion, the vocals constantly change, and then but it's not just that, EDM music even now got even simpler over the last 5 years. So there's even less in it, you think, So there's less, and yet you have to keep people engaged. And I always find the difference between a high quality composition and one that's not. If it's not, then it has this thing, it has a rise or something every 7 seconds. There's something. That sort of stuff. That stuff is just really thrown in by the producer to grab your attention, because the average attention span is something like, for a millennial or post-millennial, something like 8 seconds, and if you don't do something flash, then you've lost them. It's boring. I'm going, that's EDM. But I listen to some of the music my daughter, she's 18, listens to, and she kind of discovers some stuff like this. Suicide Sheep is a YouTube channel, and he plays kind of there's a collective of musicians, and they play kind of stuff, and it's quite interesting. It's simple music, but it's simple in a good way. It's like, you can really hear a guitar, and you can really hear the vocals, and maybe you hear some kind of string sound that you would think is dated and sounds slightly 90-ish or even 80-ish, but it still works. It keeps you engaged. It has a kind of and it's not all loud, it's not just loudness, because the loudness wars are almost over. So you can't really convince people with loud, unless they're into dubstep or something, It's not it's so loud, it's great, that way, I hate techno, by the way, can't stand it. Anyway, I've been ranting, sorry.
We've entered an age where it's like on digital music, music that's on data, that is not played live, you hit a brick wall, because there's this physical limit. So it's like there's a limit to how loud you can be, and we've reached a point where if you try to be louder than the loudest things we have, it actually sounds less powerful, because then everything sounds the same, and you cannot even have these musical stings like every 7 or 8 seconds, because everything's already at the maximum. So you have to turn it back if you want to have some kind of dynamics, because it's like when we're already at like -8 dB in terms of average loudness, it's already extremely loud. So it's like you cannot do more. So, but
you have to explain it to the chat. Nobody knows what you're talking about. Loudness is the average volume or the average energy of music, and there is a broadcasting standard, like for program material that's being put on the radio, and the rule is everything should average out at -14 dB. Now, so if Flavien says -8 dB, man, that is loud, because -14 is already loud, So we're working with minus because there's a theoretical limit, and that's 0, and 0 is the top of the scale. So you're going 0 is when you basically have noise. You just have full on like white noise at full volume, or I don't know, maybe a square wave or something. I don't actually know. I think that's a theoretical limit. You cannot actually reach that even with noise or with music, you know. But it's an average thing, so it's not like peaks, not like you know, when you hit the drum and it hits the zero. It's everything counted together over time, and minus 14 is kind of the golden rule. And when you produce like radio programs, if you go beyond it with certain radio stations and like a big radio, they will just send it back to the producer and say, well, you have to remix it. Sorry, it's too loud, because or they'll normalize it down and they'll just push down. And the thing is, if you go very high with the overall energy within the music, then what it loses kind of its breath, so it sounds flat. Like Flavian said, it's you suck the energy out of it again, because there's no difference between the beats and whatever's in between the beats, you know, that's what makes the beat sound loud. You know, if everything is super loud, then nothing's loud. It's really weird. It's hard to explain. But yeah, I mean, I'm constantly struggling with that, and again, it's so much better when you go when you read, like for me, the learning experience, listening back to a track like, let's say, B-52's Love Shack, right? And I'd listen to, and what I do, I'd listen to it. And I'd be how I recreate the track, and I got like Gary Awesome playing the guitar on it, so that was great. And I listened to the original track, and I just compare how loud are the drums, how loud is the singer, how loud is the bass, and how loud is the guitar. And the guitar is not loud at all. It's almost like in the background, and there's like a guitar solo, you know, and you think it's not loud, you know, but I can hear it so well. There's so much energy in it, but it's not loud, you know. It's weird, you know. It's not like, it has to be in your face. It just has to be there, bang, bang, you know. It has to punch you in the nose. It's like, yeah, it's not. And yet, you know, so you think there's something else. You know, there's something else in the way that the music is structured, that it kind of grabs you and it makes you listen to something, even if it's not loud. And then the other day, I'm listening to like Ricky Lee Jones in the car, and it's just crazy. The dynamics in that is like, it's just like really low, and she sings really like she's just singing along, and it's great. And then she suddenly belts out some notes. It just jumps, like, you know, it just grabs you, you know. And you think, okay, that way, that wouldn't be produced that way nowadays, because people wouldn't listen to it. They wouldn't know what to do with it, you know. Something that jumps at you and grabs you. It has to be grab you from the first bar on, you know. And it's like, it's kind of boring. Rant over.
Guys, it's an honor to have on. I'm in awe at all of this. I really am. I'm not being sarcastic. I love music. Music is another one of my passions, but I have absolutely no talent. And but I understand some of what you guys said. I'm going to leave you. So it's an honor. Thank you, Raven. We are going to do a live stream. Maybe I'm going to see if we can have you on next Monday. I'm going to pick a subject to have you on for archaeology. Okay, mate?
Okay,
guys.
Even though archaeology isn't my
See you, Lana.
Yeah,
So,
thanks
I love
for
your
having
voice.
you, Carlos.
Yeah, I love your voice, Lana. Oh.
Thank you. I promise
And
I'll do a better
Kekistan.
job next time.
Kekistani and Flavian, a pleasure to meet you guys.
You too.
Same.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
See you, dude.
Good night, Carlos.
Bye.
Olenska asked something in the chat. You know, if there's any questions in the chat, Lana, that you think I should answer, Olenska asked what happened. She said, you have to scroll up now, but it was basically, she thought that I was talking about that you can't hear the voice in the music, and that in the background music, and that is actually a problem. That is, if you really make music loud, then yes, you can lose the voice in the music. So the voice obviously is the focal point of the music. So what you do is you can't just turn it up, because then you'll hit the 0 dB and it'll sound awful. You know, it'll start to distort. So you go very close to 0 dB, but there's other tricks you can do. I mean, obviously one thing is you can EQ, so you can give the voice space in the notes that it sings, if it sings, you know, in that area, then you push those frequencies down on the other instruments. That would be a very primitive way to do it. But then there's another way where you can do the same thing, and you do it in a dynamic way that it will only push down the notes when they're sung. That's called sidechaining. And then there's another way where you can say you can add distortion, subtle distortion, to a signal, a voice or a guitar or whatever, to make it push through the mix. It's a little bit like magic. It's hard to describe, but you add this like mojo to the signal, and suddenly you can hear it through, and you can even push it down a little bit and pull it back by 1 or 2 dB, and it's still visible in there.
Yeah, you have to not be afraid to really push the background. I mean the instrumental really down, like your instrument tracks. Put them at minus 20 dB in your DAW, you know what I mean? And that way you won't necessarily, because it's at the mastering step that you're gonna bring your whole mix up to a good volume. So when you're recording, sometimes if you tend to mix too loud, which I used to do quite a bit, and now I try to as soon as I record, I put everything down. So if I need to have one track that really needs to be louder than the rest, back in the day I would have to compress the shit out of it. But now I can just make it louder, just the raw track, even without any kind of compression, and I can hear it. And then you can tweak that and whatever, but otherwise you would have to already compress it at the mixing, even though it doesn't necessarily need that much compression, you know what I mean? So don't hesitate. Or what you can do is sometimes what I do is make a group track with everything, all the instruments except the voice, and I can scale it back just with one slider to make my life easier, you know. One good thing that you can do, but that's more in the mastering process, is when you have your stereo track and you realize, oh my god, the voice doesn't stand out as much as it could. You can find, as you said, the EQ range where the voice is, like the mid or mid highs. And what you can do is use an EQ that Isotope has, that, for example, Ozone, and you can only use the mono signal. And typically the voice is in mono. It's in the dead center, because that's where the attention is, and all the instruments, the guitars, the drums are usually in stereo, and everything else usually, except the bass, but the bass will not be in that range, so will be in stereo. So, and if you if you boost that EQ, it's gonna almost boost the voice only. So
and you use you just boost it flat or dynamic EQ?
How you mean? No, I don't.
You can have static EQ, just add 2 or 3 dB or even 1 dB in that range. Just make it, in mid only, no sides. Or there's dynamic EQ as well, which kind of is a little bit like the opposite of compression, just pulling it up. So it will only react if there is actually a signal there when the person sings there. So it won't actually pull up the rest of the track. It will only pull up those places when the voice actually hits those frequencies.
Yeah, but then it can actually be a detriment, because when there's no voice, you will realize, hey, why does it sound different?
Gone. Okay, so you'd hear it.
So in the mastering, I'd rather have that all over the track, even if it modifies the rest of the track a little. But then you have to, it depends on.
You get used to it. The ear
it depends on how it sounds. It might not affect the track too much. But I'd rather avoid this kind of dynamic thing that happens only in a certain place, except it's in a place, for example, like you have a quiet part in a metal song and there's no drums, no electric guitar in a part, then you can treat that differently, because it sounds differently anyway, you know what I mean? But
it's so cool. I find that super interesting, and I just learned something new as well, so that's great. But in the chat they're talking about explicit lyrics. It goes to show that musicians think about chords and melodies, but the listeners think about the lyrics.
No, we were just discussing how a lot of music now is more based around, like, if you listen to the lyrics, it's all about, baby, I want to bang you, let's bang. How can we like screw? I'm gonna bend you over and ride you all night, chicken. And like, there's no more really good ballads. Like, the romance is gone. It's all about, let's get to the end point and let's finish this. And I'm fucking off in the
Hedonism.
morning. Yeah. So we were just discussing miss the old music.
The subtlety. You're into foreplay, admit it.
Well, it's more the use of, like, you listen to a lot of the older songs and they can't explicitly say, I want to get you in bed and roll you around. And they're talking, they use imagery and they use like more the, hinting at that kind of thing without being explicit about it. And I think that has a bit more power to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of sexier when it's implied than when it's, stated quite, explicitly.
Yeah.
And yes,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the whole magic about it. I mean, it's the pure act of doing it is probably still quite interesting when you're in the 18 to 25 bracket, and then it's kind of, okay, we know what that is. So that on its own isn't really, enough, to engage, because on a mechanical level, yeah, it's fine, and you can only take it so far, you can only, it's like the loudness wars, you can only be so much more explicit, and and then that's not shocking anymore. Does anybody even know?
See, I would love to do a song just full of sex puns. Where you never actually mention the act, you never actually say anything, but you just do like a whole string of,
Innuendo.
implied. Yeah, the whole thing is. That would be awesome.
We'll think of something. Should we tell the chat? Should we tell the stream about our plans with Mad World as well? It's just a little thing
If you
I
like.
floated. So yeah, I thought, I don't know. I'd like to see the chat's reaction to it. We were thinking of doing a German version of Mad World. Just to see, just to float that. It's crazy, like, I know, but I just thought I'd like to float that on one of the German channels. I don't have it. I mean, one of the bigger ones, and see, because they don't really have many. Just in a nutshell, I don't think they have much to laugh in Germany at the moment.
But then a lot of people think Germans don't have a sense of humour. So they do. It's just really, really
They do.
wicked.
Yeah, no, there is good. There are stand-ups comedians in Germany, believe me. Yeah, do it. Mocker says yeah. Type 1 if you think we should do a German version, and I'll teach Lana the pronunciations. But I think Mad World would be a nice one. Let's see. I wanted to ask you, Free Press. I'm sorry, I invited you and I've never asked you. What are you working on at the moment?
Well, the Christmas parody with Fab.
Nice one.
Um,
Can you give more detail, or is it top secret hush hush?
no, it's not top secret.
Oh, let us know.
We've got a
yeah?
lot of ones in the chat.
Yeah.
It's let us know. Cool.
Yes.
Oh, we got ones, so we have to do a German version now. That's cool.
But,
So that's great. So how long is it gonna take? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
didn't you say you're singing it now, or you've sung it? Flav?
Yeah, I was in the process of re-recording it this evening. So it's I'll probably send you a version an hour after we finish this.
Okay, so you're in the middle of creating it already. That's good. I had a bit of a
Yeah,
lull.
it's sort of like a collaborative sort of Christmas message from everyone. So I was gonna see, like, would you like to be involved in some way? I don't know how. Real
Are you
Raven.
talking to me? Of course. Always, I mean, you already have a brilliant piano player, so I don't know what I can. Well, I also play mandolin, so if you want some of that. I'm not the greatest of singers. I'm not the greatest of singers, I must say. But we are working. We have started recording on some stuff for Dr. Rendermacam, so he's doing a bigger thing near the end of the year, probably next year. Don't know. Well, hit me up on Twitter and see. Maybe.
So same with you, Lana.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you ever need me for anything, hit me up. That's cool. I'm happy to do voice work.
I'm speaking on Flav's behalf because he's the one mixing it. I'm not doing anything other than the visuals and the lyrics. So
I'm happy to do music, and if you need me for anything else, I'm happy to do voice work as well.
yeah, just add Flav on Twitter, I guess, if you ever want to work on anything with him.
Yeah, cool.
What are you working on at the moment, Real Raven?
Oh yeah, we're working on the stuff that we showed earlier, the R.A.P.E. song. I can't even say it. That's one thing, and I'm helping Dr. Rendermacam on something else, but that's top secret. But there's lots of voices with that, so that's good. And we have a couple of things in the back burner, Lana and I. But I had kind of a lull because my mum was over from Wales for 2 weeks, and then I got pulled into programming stuff as well. So I have some add-ons which I've programmed for Thunderbird and also for Firefox, which are Mozilla-based programs, basically. And the problem is that they brought out a new version and the whole code base, everything broke, basically, so I had to fix a lot of shit. And Firefox, the new Firefox version, doesn't support my old add-ons anymore, so I had to make a video about that on my second channel and explain to people how they can get their add-ons back. Things like AdBlock Plus, I think that one might have been TabMix. That's one, where you can have more than one row of tabs and you can do different stuff with it. And I just need that shit, And I had written an add-on that helps you to get to your saved passwords. Now Firefox has its own password store, so but it's very difficult to get to it. So I had programmed some like an add-on that makes it easy to basically navigate to it, and now it's not possible anymore, basically. So I had to make a video about why it's not possible. They went down the same route as Chrome. They are using web extensions now, but the good thing about these open source projects is that there's other versions. There's forks, they're called forks, which basically they take the source code, which is it's open source, so everybody can, it's community developed more or less. It belongs to the community, not just to one big corporation, and people can always create a fork, a different version. So there's another browser called Pale Moon, and then there's a browser called Waterfox, which I'm just trying out. It's very nice, and it's only 2 versions behind, and Firefox is 57, they're 55, so they're very close together. And it's work basically, but it's free, as in. There's 2 aspects to it. It's free as in freedom and free as in beer. Free as in beer is, usually plugins, you can download them, you don't have to pay for them. And then free as in freedom is they're open source, which means that there's no secret recipe to them. All the source code can be read. So what they do in the background can be read, can be changed. You can change them. You can make your own versions of them, and you can fix them. And you can ask somebody else to fix them for you. You can ask somebody else to modify them for you. And these are all things that are illegal with commercial software. So, if you buy, let's say Word, Microsoft Word, you can't just say, oh, I don't like the way that when I do this, then this happens. I need somebody to change it for me. That is actually illegal. But with open source, it's the other way around. The licensing is that all the source is open, you can change it, and you're encouraged to change it. It's not illegal, but what you can't do is take the source code, make a new product, and close it. That's actually illegal. And that the idea behind it is, it's not called copyright, it's called copyleft. I don't know if you've heard of that term.
No.
It's quite amazing. It just means that if you release this source code under this license, there's the LPG, the GNU 3 license, where you say, I release this source code and give it to the public. And if somebody else creates something from it, then when they create a new product from it, they have to release it under the same source code, so it stays open. You can't say, oh, I'm just going to grab that and I'm just going to like kind of patent it and close it off for everybody. Once it's out in the open, it remains there. You know, and the good idea about that is like it's reckoned that 20-30 years ago somebody invented a combustion engine that would only take like 5 liters or less of petrol per 100 kilometers, and that's like a hard limit. It's very hard to reach, and that was bought by some big motoring company and then just put into a safe. So, you know, it's gone. So basically, that's what you can do. You can just take an innovation, and if you have enough money, you buy the patent for it, and then you just hide it from the public. Because, you know, you make more money that way. So the idea of copyleft is kind of, hey, you publish something, you give it to the world, and you make sure that it stays. You know, that was one of the ideas with HTML when they invented when the internet was kind of open sourced. In the time when, was it Tim Berners-Lee? I think this guy in CERN, there was, when he released the HTML protocol, there was lots of other protocols, similar protocols that did stuff like, you know, worked on networking different like network nodes or network points or machines together. But the advantage of HTML or the protocol that he invented was that he just published it and said it's public domain now, it belongs to everyone. And that's what made the internet possible. And the interesting thing now is that there's some crazy guys in the EU, in Spain or somewhere, who want to invent a link tax, that you have to pay a tax if you link to somebody else's content. Can you imagine that? That's quite crazy, you know. That's completely contrary to the idea of the internet, where, you know, everything links to everything for free, you know, and you can just jump from A to B. You just go to a Google search and come to a page, and that page links to another page. You know, there's this dude, you know, he has this idea, he has this solution for that problem, you know, and you think it's like it's like a road, like a network of roads, you know, they go from A to B to Z. You can use them all, you know, or like waterways, you know, they belong to everyone. You can't just say, okay, we're just going to stop the river right here and we're going to take all the water out, and whoever's floating down, we don't care, you know. So I think that at the moment there's a movement in the corporate world to kind of maybe dig into these freedoms a little bit to make some money off it, you know. Maybe we can just like stop the river there a little bit more, you know. That's the thing with the net neutrality, that thought that I would just stop that traffic there, make it a little bit slower there, you know, and then we make it a little bit faster over there, and we're just going to charge a ton of money for it, you know. And you think, but hold on, I mean, the water belongs to everybody, you know. How can they do that, you know? And that's the same idea with, I think, the link text. You just say, well, links are for everybody. You can share stuff. Yeah, but, you know, this link goes to this news resource. It goes to CNN. And then if you display this snippet of, let's say, news, then that's like valuable information. You cannot just share that for free. That's why you need to ask for a tax. And suddenly the government gets its fingers on it and say, we'll make legislations, and we get like a couple of percent. Not much, you know. You charge 1 or 2 cents for that link, and you give us 0.1 cents. And suddenly the government earns money from a communal, in my mind, communal resource, you know. So I think it's, I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah,
Should we invite Mitch?
What?
Just catching all of that, processing it.
Yeah, too much information. I'm just on a rant here. I see Mitch is in the chat. Do you want to come on, charming man?
Mitch is epic.
DM me, bitch. I will. You keep talking. I'm just ranting here. I just had too much beer. I'm sorry. Jesus, nobody's. Nobody's saying anything. I need to call.
Dead air. Dead air. No.
You could play some music. I need to get Mitch. Wait, new message. Mitch. No, charming man. I don't know what you've.
I sent him a link on Skype because I have him on Skype.
Oh my god, that's good. I DM'd him. So yeah, it's just don't get me started talking on software, because it. Keep going.
Yeah, don't stop.
No, that was all that talk about commercial music that I'll totally admit that I'm a 100% music elitist. I never listen to the radio, and I basically only listen to like obscure prog rock, metal bands and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like fortunately in this area you can still have great content, but you really have to dig a little bit.
Flav, you can play some Muse songs for Mitch now that Mitch is here, because I know he likes that band.
And anymore. What about this? You've shown it me.
Nice. Bach.
I already know these songs. I already know the parody that you're going to do.
God damn, show off everybody.
Das Gretchen im Spinnrade. That's nice.
Yeah, this one goes on forever like that.
Cool. Prog rock.
Was that Radiohead then, by any chance?
Oh fuck yeah, we did play Karma Police.
2 always makes a 5 because that came out after Origin of Symmetry. Funnily enough, it sounds very much like Newborn and Plug-in Baby a little bit. It's a different
that last
tune.
song?
Yeah, the one that the pixel art person played.
Oh, that's Ruled by Secrecy, I think it was.
Oh, was it? Oh, it was Muse again, was it? Oh, yeah, it was Ruled by Secrecy. Yeah. Well, firstly, it's Rachmaninoff, but it's Muse.
I have to think about it because I don't have 88 keys, and
it's Rachmaninoff. That it's Symphony 3, number 5. Whichever one.
What, this?
Yeah, it's Rachmaninoff. They basically adapted it. I wonder if Real Raven knows about Rachmaninoff. I mean, you must do. You're a pianist.
I do, but I've never played it.
I mean, this is basically you're not gonna catch me out anymore. I know all their albums.
You're such a show-off. I find that really enviable because I can't play shit like that by heart. Just rattle it off.
If Matt can play it, you can play it. It's not very difficult. Muse songs.
Probably
They're not very difficult.
Yeah, I would say that Matt is a better piano player than a guitar player.
I disagree with that, and I think he would disagree with that as well. I think he's a better guitar player.
I don't know.
Is that one of your troop?
No,
Which
yeah.
band?
What I said is he is better at piano than guitar.
I don't think he is.
I don't know some of the stuff. I mean, I don't know, but it's like my brother is not a great guitar player, but he can play all the stuff Muse played. I would say I'm a lot more experienced on the piano, and some of the stuff was a little bit tricky to learn, but I don't know. And he learned the piano as a kid, so he has that training. But I don't know.
Which Matt? Sorry,
Self-taught.
I mean, it's hard to compare anyway. It's like it doesn't make any sense to really compare.
He's not classically trained at in any way. He can barely read music. It's true. I've read up on them so much.
Raven.
Who is Matt? Sorry, I'm
talking about
lost.
Matt Bellamy.
From Muse.
Matt Bellamy, yeah. His dad was on Telstar, wasn't it? What was it called now? Yes, the Tornadoes. He was the guitar player.
Nice. Some Bach. I like Bach.
Yeah, but a lot of stuff is like it's actually easier to learn if you're like if you understand what happens in the music, right? It's like newborn. It's like if you understand that you're in the key of E minor, it's like you have basically four things to learn. It's like first degree, fifth degree, 1, 5, 1, 6, 3, 5.
Yeah.
So it's actually a lot of stuff. Yeah, same stuff with Space Deliria, right? It's also in E because
Dementia, not Deliria.
Yes, Dementia. Yeah, there's another Amiga song called Space Deliria. That's why. But it's also in E because he's a guitar player. So half of his songs are in E. So.
Is that it? It's E minor, B, E minor, and A, right? I'm lame. I know. I'm not even talking in degrees.
It's newborn. It's like it's E minor, then it's a B major bass E, and it's a B minor, then same, then goes back to E minor, then it's C, G, and B.
All right, yeah, I could learn that, I guess.
Oh yeah. This one is really easy. I have a student in piano, and we learned that song like after just a few months of lessons. So yeah, this one is kind of easy, but it's cool to play too. So
it's show-offy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well,
yeah,
you know,
some things are show-offy. Yeah, it looks hard, but it's actually is not at all. Some other things that don't look hard are actually can be really hard, especially when there are some weird fingerings, finger position.
Yeah.
Like I'm learning a song from Dream Theater, and it's just a it's a total nightmare. It's like it's finger torture.
This guy's a machine. R.A.P.E, what's his name? He's
Jordan Rudess.
Yeah, he's just oh god. I've stopped practicing like 20 years ago. You know, I haven't really done much. You know, I haven't really learned much new things. I used to be quite good, but no, I'm not. And I never learned stuff by heart. But now I'm much more interested in composing. Well, in fact, I was always interested in composing, but now you have the actual hardware for it, so it's much easier. It's just much easier to realize something.
Oh yeah.
So what are you doing, Mitch? What are you working on at the moment? Oh, I can't hear you. Charming man.
What? You mean Mitch now, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You can't hear me because I'm not speaking.
Ah, okay.
He said, "What are you working on?"
What are you working on?
Say anything? I didn't ask he was working on anything. I've just been listening, just waiting for a chance to talk. So I've got I think everybody knows, but have you heard about Layman?
No.
He wants to do tomorrow. He's going to do a face reveal. Apparently, he's been teasing it for the last week on Twitter. Hello, buddies! Look at me, it's my ugly mug. I'm just like, oh, great.
Do we need this?
Hello, boss.
Good...
Today we're going to talk about the skeptic community trademark.
It's very good. The skeptic community. I very much enjoyed his meeting with Coach Red Pill. That was great. That was cool.
Coach.
You don't like him?
Nah, I don't. He's an idiot.
Is he? I don't
Yeah,
know.
he has some of those talking points like men shouldn't masturbate and shit like that, and the drama that he always creates to get more subs and views. Yeah, that's the
not a fan
type of person we should be associating with. Nah, thanks.
Okay. No, I find some of his talking points interesting, but that last hangout where they were with Mr. Metakur, where they were basically like completely tearing crowd and T, a new one was kind of a little bit. It was just okay. Here's some intelligent people being mean together. It's kind of okay. It kind of gets old.
I'm intelligent, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
I guess he feels intelligent
Let's-
around other smart people. I don't know.
You're not
Let's
biased
say,
or anything.
let's say.
I don't care
elaborate.
what crowd thinks. I don't really care. I don't have a ball in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
I have to admit, I
Wikipedia
don't watch
snippet
his
said-
stuff as much as I probably should.
Wikipedia snippet said that my voice sounds a little like Dr. Lehman's.
A little
like,
bit.
Somebody said like I sound like his younger, more retarded and gayer brother.
Say long-suffering dad or something. I don't know.
Okay. I know that, that he was working very, very hard to make his sound voice deeper. You know, I even consulted me on what to do on EQ. You know, to make it sound deeper. And you know, I said like, just find the sweet spot. You know, it's not necessarily about just boosting the bass a lot of the times. You know, because he can have a quite soothing voice. You know, it's not all top end. You know, it's just that that's the one thing he's worrying about, you know. I sound too high. He wants to sound lower. Yes, he wants a deep voice.
Well, keep
Just go
talking
close to the
and
mic.
drink all the whiskey.
Just go close to the microphone. It's okay. Or get a better mic.
What he could do is just like talk, make more videos and wear his voice out. He'll get deeper that way and keep drinking whiskey and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, he'll deepen up.
I don't think it's a good idea to.
Not a good idea, but Tom Waits did it.
No, I mean, especially to Dr. Lehman to tell him to drink or take substances. I think that might be a bad idea because he might actually take that advice, and then he might make no content for a while. What? Sorry, you were breaking up.
All the more reason to see what would happen.
Yeah, that's true. You just want to see the world
Oh
burn.
my god, I'm gonna dab while drunk. Dab, dab. He was on one of my streams recently. He was hilarious. I was like, "Can you explain alt-centrism?" Like, no.
Oh my god. Can you explain postmodernism? I still don't get it.
No.
No.
Isn't that the
Oh
whole
my God.
point of it? Is that it's unexplainable?
Yeah, you can't.
Well,
you
alt-centrism.
can't.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Both.
thought postmodernism.
Alt-centrism and postmodernism. It's not
Advidism, no.
exactly identifiable.
Postmodernism. Do you remember him? Advidism.
Advidism? No.
You know, the Dutch guy who's always
What is
drunk
it?
and going on about postmodernism. You know, postmodernism. I used to use voice better, but I
You
can't
probably
now.
just like the word.
I just think that the whole world is under like some kind of oppression of postmodernism. It's quite funny.
Who's this? Layman.
Advidism, not layman. Advidism.
Oh. Who's that?
Guy who's drunk and thinks I've already explained this. You just didn't listen, but
Sorry,
he's a
I'm
Dutch
just
guy who
wondering.
I'll explain it one more. He's a Dutch guy who's drunk all the time and thinks postmodernism is oppressing the world. Essentially, other word that comes out of his mouth is postmodernism, and he's on Kraut's new server. All he ever does is sometimes he'll go onto the voice chat when nobody else is in and chat all night to himself. He's an alcoholic.
I see.
I missed him though.
That's almost sad.
But he's
I
entertaining.
feel bad now.
I remember when I first saw him, it was on the Accent Overlords, you know, with Skeptor and Dr.
Yeah.
Cam and Goodfella. And basically, he became the star of the show. That was when he became well known, and Goodfellas was just sick of him. And but I was just like mocking him all the way through. It was quite funny.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I think that I probably get on better on a stream with the likes of Goodfellow or Gary Awesome, because they're kind of more down to earth. I just like that, you know. I'm not very political. I don't know. It's all too complicated for me, and you need to know so much background knowledge.
I had like an idea for a song, but I realised I can't sing.
Well, you know who to go to for songs, right? Me.
It's based on the Metallica song, and I can't think of anybody do James Hetfield that isn't a bad impression.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, Flav, do it.
But it would have been based on "I Disappear." I'm not doing
Oh,
I'm not doing the hat. No way.
There's a band that did a mashup of the Beatles songs and Metallica, and basically
I know about them.
Yeah,
Metallica.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Hey, dude! Yeah!
Dude, yeah. Like that, yeah. Actually, he's not that deep if you think about it. Is when he sings clean, he's deep, but when he's going, yeah, it isn't actually that deep. Yeah, I listen to them too much. Would have been based on "I Disappear" about men being like, well, basically not having any rights. I had ideas for it and everything, but the lyrics pretty much could like describe that kind of emotional problem anyway, I guess. You know, men do literally disappear, so
Mm-hmm.
then I thought, well, the lyrics wouldn't require much changing, and then there wouldn't be much of a parody, would it? So
Did you do one about the let boys be boys, they rape their mums and they kill their fathers or something?
is that that NYT article?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Unexamined
Completely over the top
brutality.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a video on that.
Oh,
Maybe
cool.
not.
Then we don't have to talk about it right now, because I thought that would.
I've not even
was
read
one...
it yet. You know me, I do it on the fly, so I've not read it all yet. What I have read is
it's very
it's
long.
just a soy
anyway.
boy.
But it's I don't know. I kind of read. You usually read like the first paragraph, and then I read the last 3 paragraphs to see whether really was it just clickbait. Were they really serious, And they do mention like Freud in all honesty, like it's.
Oh, Freud? You mean the one that's been debunked?
Yes, exactly. And it just
credible.
makes it.
It's still good. It's just a little like out of touch, but it's still good. It's still good.
It's a good laugh, I guess.
He's the guy with the lip, right?
The Electra complex was created just to piss him off by a rival psychologist. I forgot who it was, but yeah, he did it just to piss Freud off.
Okay.
I don't know why it could be a layman voice, but I don't know. Let's troll Freud. Electra complex, yes.
Oh my god. Jeez, my chat wasn't scrolling down. I thought everybody was asleep, but there's one Wikipedia snippet keeps Pinochet. Oh, we got Pinochet in this chat as well. Hello.
If you take most of his name out, plus the S and N on snippet, he's Whippet. As in the dog Whippet.
Yeah, the Whippet. We had one. Well, a mixture.
Also a tank.
Yeah.
It's a tank as well, the Whippet.
Yeah? I didn't know that.
World War One, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I know that there's a plane and that's a Warthog. The A, what's it? A something?
A7V? That's a German one, yeah.
The Warthog.
There's a lot of Allied tanks and stuff like that. But the A7V was a proper one that they actually built themselves, which is like 18, 15 people, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was that big.
Wow.
I think it was 15 people. Let's have a look.
You're also a treasure trove of useless information, just like me.
It is not useless. Everybody knows that.
Actually, yeah, the thing about history, I wasn't really interested for about like 48 years of my life, and then I went, then I became interested in like political YouTubers, and now I'm kind of much more interested in history. At the moment,
Let's have a look. I'm on they only built 20. Oh, it was 18. So I was just about right. I did say 15 to 18. It was minimum of 18 people, so it could have gone higher. But yeah, they're just
It's
big
like-
walking, hulking slabs of metal. That's all they really are. Not very good.
like crushed
It's funny
sardines in
how-
a tin can.
It's funny how when you get older, you get more interested in history. I know that like, I'm having a bit of a discussion with my partner at the moment. He's younger than I am, which, you know, because cougars rule. And we're having this discussion about fascism, and he has no idea what it is. He's been reading V for Vendetta, the comic, like the original comic, not the movie. And he had to Google what fascism was. He had no idea. And so I'm trying to
I envy
explain
the
the
guy.
concept of fascism to him, and he's completely confused. And he's in his mid-20s, so it's not like he's
You should know by now.
really, really young. You should know,
Yeah.
but like
Fascists.
24, 25.
I've
I'm
heard
sure.
quite a few people who are in there. Absolutely no idea of any of that sort of stuff.
I mean, if he was following
Ooh,
BuzzFeed,
a lot of the A7Vs
know
have
that-
names.
you should know that fascists are people who ask if traps are gay.
I'm not
Yeah.
getting into the middle of that one.
They're wearing red hats, right? And they have green flags.
I've got one right now.
Yeah, you have one. Oh, that's another thing. We were talking
Boom!
about.
Can you see it? Oh, look at that. It's beautiful.
Ooh, nice. Envious. I'm envious.
Green
That's
power.
another
now
thing.
it's
They
got
were,
my
they were
camera.
kind of. There was. Oh yeah, shady day. Yeah,
You know,
I find
Shadowlane
it-
is like a history thing. It's like a chant.
I still find it amusing. It's I don't know. It seems to it seems to be in, but it's you have to be careful because if it's in for too long, it's out again, and people already start to kind of pull the piss. I mean, it is the whole thing was pulling the piss anyway from the culture, but it's just don't take it too seriously. Don't get too
You know
attached
what's,
to it.
Thing as a question is Amos he a troll or not? That is literally the new
Yes,
Traps
he
Gay
is.
question. It keeps going on and on and on. I'm sorry, at what point do you stop the troll? Like, come on.
You can't.
So many videos.
We have
There's
to
something
do.
wrong with him, but I don't think it's paedophilia. I think it's just
I think he's a histrionic. He might be maybe one of the rare men who has a cluster B syndrome.
Who are you talking about now? Oh, Amos, yeah, all right. Well, I haven't watched his. I know he tried to come back on the same old talking point on pedophilia, and I'm really not interested. I don't even want to waste like brain cycles on it. It just doesn't seem.
Yeah, I
it's
did
not
one
even
video.
doesn't even disgust me or anything. It's just like really.
I know. It doesn't.
It's not
disgust
even
me
worth
either.
talking
I'm
about.
not shocked. It's very hard to shock me.
Yeah.
Like the paedophilia shit is just like, come on. Even the baby stuff, it's like, yeah, I've already seen the Lost Prophets guy actually go to jail. Now, if you don't know who Lost Prophets are, they were a Welsh pop punk band, and the singer is a paedophile. Like, he was in jail. He was jailed for, I think, either soliciting or grooming a baby to you know what I mean.
Oh my god.
It was
it's
quite
terrible.
nasty.
Yeah.
So I've already been exposed to that stuff. So when he's saying babies can consent, it's like, yeah, well, I've already seen it happen. So yeah. The thing is, the one thing that made me sort of laugh was like there was a girl in school who loved that band. She was obsessed with them. And I was thinking, how must she be feeling to know that the man of her dreams is a
You didn't tell her.
No, we've not talked to each other for years, but I thought about talking to her though, but nah.
It's funny when you're younger, you're like, oh, there's no way I have a chance with my idol. It's like, well, you had more of a chance when you were younger than you do now.
True.
Ah,
And apparently there's another pop punk band that had another breakup because of paedophilia. Was it Rise? Not Rise Against. It was the
Gary
band that
Glitter.
they don't like. Gary Glitter's old.
I know. I'm old, so I know. So I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be clued into what you young people listen to. You see?
Well, they're like nearly 20 years old. Some of those bands I
Yeah,
referred
still
to.
young. Still young. So a tailed feature, I invited him, but he didn't come. But he made a song. He just released a song today, and it's awesome. You should all listen to it. It's basically I don't want to have any babies. So I don't know what I'm paraphrasing. Don't want any babies. And the one of the lines is you say that's what sex is for, but you didn't say it when you were on all fours. So. Yeah, I think it's awesome. He's written all the lyrics and sang it, but I think it's also original composition, maybe? I don't know.
No,
cool
it's
anyway.
based on
Listen
a
to it.
Madison Avenue song called
Okay.
Don't Call Me Baby.
Okay. Well, it was
Don't
fabulous
call
anyway.
me baby.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. There's one that reminds me of one thing we need to do is look at again, Lana, when you have time. You know which one I'm talking about.
Early 2000s, that song.
Which one? There's so many. I mean, yay!
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This
okay.
is how old it is.
Yeah.
You don't know how old this song is. It's so old it knocked off Oops, I Did It Again off the top spot in the UK, I think. Yeah. This is what I just
Which
looked up because Don't Call Me Baby.
Don't call me baby.
I can still remember watching Madison Avenue perform that live
Don't
on one of the New
call-
Year's in
on
Australia.
the radio.
Wow.
Don't
Speaking
wear
of
no
Australia-
Damn, I feel old.
Anyway, I've been trying to look for a meme that I saw David Chirac, #Chirac Patrol post, which is quite funny, called Western Man Choose or Choose Western Man.
Yeah, I saw that
Means
one.
you. It's so funny because Coherent Thoughts is taken her favorite. Is it unfavorably or favorably with Lauren Southern? I'm just like, dude, come on, we all know where you were barely a year ago. And she said that
thoughts.
I'm taken, and David knows that, which is like, oof, oof. She had to make it very obvious, and make it very
She might
well
as well
known.
slam his testicles in the door while she's at it. I'm sure it would hurt less.
It's funny. He said that Lauren Southern looks about 40. She doesn't look 40, but she does look older than 22. I mean, I'm older than her, and I don't look 24. That's what people say. I'm not saying that I do, but I do look younger than her.
Yeah, you're a bit of a baby
But
face. You
he's
know,
trying to
I
say
think you
that
should
he tried to say that
You
Lauren
should grow-
Southern's not as good because she doesn't have a degree in STEM, while Coherent Thoughts does. But I'm like, Coherent Thoughts is a retard.
Mhm.
But Lauren isn't perfect either. But I'd rather Lauren than Coherent Thoughts.
Okay, I need to.
Anyway, what were you going to say?
Thoughts. Oh, I wanted to say you have to grow your hair long again.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it would look better though. And then like
No,
a shirt,
it,
you know.
it grows outwards and like an afro, and it's hard to control. And
Okay.
I look ridiculous.
No,
I mean,
you don't.
maybe one day. Maybe
No,
one
you
day.
don't.
I was 16 back then. It was different, and that's not as long as it got.
Okay, let me go.
That's only like a quarter of the way.
Coherent thought. Jesus fucking Christ. Can't find coherent thought. There must be a channel coherent thought, right?
I wonder if I can find those tweets if he hasn't deleted it already.
Is there a channel coherent?
I looked up
thought?
Chirac Patrol and there's a whole bunch of pictures, but I haven't been able to look at them because my internet is just.
They let me down because I got into an argument with him recently, and they didn't provide evidence that I asked them for.
Oh.
That would be too easy.
I was well disappointed.
If
'cause
he
he
gave
was
you
saying that,
evidence, you
I'm-
could just beat him.
No, Chirac Patrol, the people who post all the pictures and stuff,
Ah,
they let me down.
I found that picture.
Share it. Do
I need to
share
upload my
it,
video.
please.
Copy. I wonder if that'll work.
I hope it does. I'm shit today with.
I put
screen sharing.
the Twitter link in
Okay,
the
then
chat, in the group chat.
Okay, I'll open it then.
It's Privilegey Shitlord Bot 5000 who wrote
Oh,
it.
Glebs, yeah.
Ba, 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 ba. Here we go. Self-awareness. David Sherrod. Too many thirsty dudes online. How do women put up with this? Okay. QT physicist or college dropout who looks 40. Who's that on the left? I know this face.
Let's have a look.
Who's that?
That's Coherent States on the left.
Coherent States.
Yeah, and I don't think she was a college dropout. And even then, it's like college dropouts tend to do better than people with degrees anyway.
Well, it says QT physicist or college dropout. So college dropout would that be Lauren Southern then on the
Yeah, I don't know if she is. But like, she's doing well she's probably doing as better, if not.
Yeah,
better
she's a businesswoman.
Yeah. They're in different fields though, so does it really matter?
I mean, at least
And what's
she's
Coherent
not
States
all
doing?
alone.
If she's still successful no matter what she's doing, does she need the degree?
Yeah, who cares?
No.
Exactly.
What degree was she doing? Was it gender studies? She was doing gender studies, I'm pretty sure.
She was doing a
maybe
few
she's
videos for a
amazing.
while about her doing gender studies courses, but
Yeah.
I don't think that
It
lasted
says
very long.
quantum physics physicist right there.
I know John. Oh yeah, QT. All
I don't
right,
know
that's. Yeah, probably.
I don't. It might just be.
You see, I thought the
QT.
QT stood for, cute.
Yeah, that's what I
I
thought.
didn't even think of quantum.
Well, it's physicist.
Apparently she
so,
went to
and it's
MIT.
like quantum
Yeah, cute.
quantum
Well, it could
theory.
be a cute physicist as well, with a cute physique.
You know what I should have said to somebody? Because she apparently went to MIT and said, she went to MIT, did she? Are you sure it wasn't like a affirmative action thing?
Okay, somebody explain why.
She got in for
about,
merit.
I mean,
Just,
I know
looking at her
David
Twitter,
Sherrod,
no
but
way.
what about this Sherrod Patrol? What does it mean?
It's
What
just
is it?
it's just people posting stuff that he says that's stupid.
Okay. It's just quotes.
That's
yeah,
what it
that's
is.
Cool. That's cool.
They should have a Tree of Logic patrol because she's going down that road too, but to the right, not to the left.
So it's like the equivalent of Maya's Twitter hashtag.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. A little bit different because they're just compiling what he says, whereas Maya's Twitter is like a living meme
Yeah.
in many ways. So yeah, it's kind of the same, a little bit.
David, before and after the rejection. The Theron. I'm so fucking jealous right now. Damn you, Theron.
Oh, I remember that.
That is alternative
Tweet,
facts.
but he didn't delete the YouTube comments. I was trying to channel my inner. What's that film where he goes? If you remove the graves, but you didn't remove the bodies. Poltergeist. That's it. That's what I was trying to do.
Remove the bodies? I only remember a television
Geist.
set.
When it's a
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, I know, of course. And
about-
she gets, she's inside the TV.
Yeah.
Poltergeist. Yeah.
And then it's the
And-
dad.
and
He's complaining to the person just as everything is about to go down. At the end, and he goes, "You removed the grave, you removed the bodies." It was brilliant. I love that. That was good. Can't find a video. Shit.
Collectivism is good. You've become the same social justice bullets you used to fight, but with none of the pretense of fighting discrimination. Your biggest achievement is grandstanding. Achievements are legitimate Infowars and rebel media, the conspiracy news site, and the white nationalist propaganda platform. Biggest achievements? I don't know. It's all about being commercial, right? You've acted as incubators and protectors. Oh my god. So pompous. Too many have this idea that
Tailed
things-
Feature says hi, by the way.
Get in, you Scottish
Oh,
cunt.
cool.
He's
He's
working.
working.
I already
Oh,
asked him.
Who wants the wrench?
Jane. I'll have a
Jane.
wrench.
I love it.
Jane? I don't see
Give
any
me your
Jane.
wrench, boy.
Who wants the wrench in the chats? Free Press, you get a wrench. Okay.
I tried to.
You don't get
put
one.
something
You
in.
want it too badly.
Well, you know,
So-
as a rule, normally I only give wrenches to people who come to my chat twice. So you have to come back. Oh, Mitch as well. Okay, fine. Everybody gets a wrench. Bang.
You don't
Oh.
reward bad behavior. What are you teaching
Steel
him?
rain. Well, I can take it away again. It stings more.
Whoa! I completely lost connection for a second.
Yeah, you were kind of roboting out there.
Yeah,
the
sorry.
good old UK internet, right? They're
Yeah.
coming to take you away, haha. Or they're
Going to
coming to
take
take
you
it away.
But anyway, what I was trying to say was, what happened to that MRA calendar thing that the Medusa, or is it still being made?
What calendar?
Yeah, Modern Medusa and 2 others were making a MRA calendar.
All right.
It kind of
Reading
blew
Wrench.
up for a bit, and then it kind of faded off.
Guys, that's the one. Reading Wrench is part of that, isn't it? Reading
Yeah.
Wrench. If that's
I don't know
right.
who the other 2 are.
Reading Little Bird. Wrench? Is it Wrench? Wren.
Yeah, or-
Reading Wren, not Wrench.
Oh, there's
Okay.
two of me.
Cool. Now, what else is this? I had.
So I've been a bit like, did what happen with Bering?
Oh, we got banned.
Like he got
Twitter.
banned from Twitter or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
by
What the heck
Crispin
went on with that?
is- He's still, I think he's banned for a week, I think, right?
Really? I thought it was
Ban.
more like permaban, no? Or
I don't know if it
was
was
it 2 weeks?
permaban.
I think it was permanent, but
Yeah.
They'll reverse it. Or maybe not. I don't know. Hey, he
Once
said
police
he's not
people's
interested in
contact-
getting a second channel anyway.
But
Oh,
he never
they're here again.
really used his Twitter that much anyway.
Yeah, he just posted when he made a new video, basically. So very, very benign sort of harassment. Matt,
Not at
you
all.
have to say it. I'm sorry. You have to be my bitch if you.
I think there's been some infighting there, you know, within the brain chat. I mean, the brain trust, not chat.
Yeah.
Something about Michael Rowlands.
Oh,
About
are they
Lana?
all jealous because they don't want him to go to
Maybe.
Kilroy or something? I mean, he's not going anyways.
know.
He said he's not going.
Complains about an echo chamber. Then he accepts the invitation. Now he's not going, even though he's getting paid for. Wow.
Yeah, it's
So what?
it's this weird thing, right? It's these 2 arguments that don't really work well together. The one is, oh, it's an echo chamber, and then there's what's the other one? There's the opposite
You're
one
not
as
going to
well.
include us anyway.
Hmm?
It's like all you ever hear is, you know, it's just an echo
yeah.
chamber of Nazis, and then they're like, but you're not going to invite us anyway, and then you do
No,
invite
no.
them, and they're like, we don't want to go there. It's full of Nazis.
Yeah, it's not that. It's the
what
virus
they're
or the this thing that well we can't associate with you. That's it. So it's echo chamber versus association. When you associate, you're kind of tainted because, like as you know, right wingism is a contagious disease. So be careful.
I think going to
If you're not careful, you'll catch right-wingism.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's though, right?
Look at the
I'm
whole
noticing
language.
increasingly-
It's really, they treat it like viruses or like bacteria. You know, oh, you're disgusting. We can't associate with you. We can't go near you. Get out of this country. It's exactly like they have a disease or something.
The thing is, though, just basically taking all our arguments and then flipping them, just projecting
It's
it onto
because if they
that.
had an original thought of their own, their heads would explode.
It's not that. It's not that. It's because they know that's all they're doing.
Jesus, I can't. I didn't understand it.
Because what we say isn't particularly original. You say now, but it's what they're doing. Like ranting feminists is the most guilty of this, where she just repackages anti-SJW talking points as feminist talking points. I had many Twitter battles with her, and every time it's projection. And like once I got really close to showing her what it's like and attack people for saying things.
Yeah.
You're roboting for me.
Yeah, you're totally roboting.
Can you F5? Like,
Yeah, Mitch reload or something, because you are roboting. I thought it was just me, but it's very hard to understand what you're saying.
yeah, your voice is like gone all weird because of the connection.
Usually just around when you sound like you're going to make a point, and then it fades off. Was I mean?
No.
He left because of you. It's all your fault.
It was me. It was all me. I'm so awkward.
Ranting feminist. That's interesting. I've never seen that channel before. It's this blue-haired Claudia Brown, is it?
Mm.
Oh,
I don't know.
shit,
I've
didn't
tried
know
to
that.
listen to some of her stuff, but it's like she contradicts herself a lot, and I can't tell if she's parroting herself or if she's like serious about the crap she says.
Oh, what it is. I'm uploading.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
You're multitasking.
Maybe I
You
should.
can't do that.
Maybe I should
You're a
log
boy.
out.
You're such a boy, Mitch. You can't multitask, don't you know?
Maybe
Because you're a guy.
I know for a bit, and then
Only girls can. Yeah,
I'll drop out for a bit, and then I'll come
drop out.
back.
Come back. That's okay. We'll be around for
I'll be
another
right
20,
back.
30 minutes anyway.
Because it's taking ages as well. I think because we're doing two things, it should take about 10 minutes. We're taking 39. So anyway, I'll be right back, guys.
No worries. So he was lying because he said he wasn't working on anything, and he's uploading a video. Fucker. Just probably... Yeah, I'm not that impolite. I wouldn't do that.
Play
to
some
you.
Sonic the Hedgehog, Flav. Come on. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Which version?
Okay,
The
guys.
legit version
The
or
original. The original.
the one that I twisted?
Gotta be the original.
Okay.
Oh, you twisted one.
Yeah, I made a
Do the twisted
Hey,
one.
look.
Twisted.
John Carpenter version because of the meme.
Do it. Do it.
What?
Keep going.
You can almost make it a jazz lounge version, like because the chords are well suited to do that.
Cool. Sounds like you're adding some major sevens there.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of Final Fantasy 13 main theme.
Oh yeah.
Fuck. What? Then. No, wait. And then.
Good night, Mocha Joseph.
Good night.
Yeah,
Just
something like
saying.
that.
I don't know, we're probably late. No, just people are saying goodbye in the stream, and I say goodbye to them because there's only a few people listening. That's great.
What other Final Fantasy 8 songs can you play, dude?
I don't know. Here's the thing: if I think of a song and the harmony is simple, I can play it on the spot. But like the opening, I've heard you play, and I was like, oh yeah. So if it's simple enough, but and usually most of them are a little bit more complex than your usual video game song, but it's musical colors that I'm used to, so I can usually pick pick them up really quick, but I don't know. Like the night theme is something like in Final Fantasy IX, something like. You know,
I love the music.
Somebody asked,
In the
can
chat,
you play
somebody suggested you play the Walking Away song from
Incredible Hulk?
The Incredible Hulk.
I have no idea how this sounds. I'm sorry.
Me
It has
neither,
to be a
sorry.
song I know. It has to be something I've heard at least once. I cannot do magic.
I got shit, that didn't work. Shit. I got an awesome new instrument. Let me see. But unfortunately, it's based on Contact, so it's not.
Oh yeah.
I've
heard
but I'll show it you guys, right? It's called R.A.P.E, and there's a small brother of it. It's called X Loops. It's quite impressive. It's quite nice. Let me just open this and open a patch there. Okay, 1 sec, needs to load. But that was recommended by Rick Beato, and a lot of movie music composers use that. So here we go. Let me just make that active here, and then. Okay, that's it. It's a bit slow now because the song is slow. It's like 80 BPM, but at 120, it's quite interesting. It's all these kind of weird textures that kind of loop, and they're all kind of reversed. So you get these really kind of.
But what? Do you have to feed it some samples and then it processes them?
Well, actually, I'm not sure if you can make your own, but they have quite awesome libraries. And when you start listening to things, oh yeah, I've heard that one. That's on like Doctor House, you know, and that's on this series, and that's on that thing, you know. And you think, how do they come up with these awesome textures, you know? So that's basically an instrument that gives you these, you know. It's just you press a key, you know, and you press another key for the key. You know, whatever. And it just does this weird, swirly, backwards kind of shit that you'd kind of cut together a lot of samples yourself and overlay stuff and put it through.
Okay, so yeah, it's a library of samples that come up with the
loop.
With that yeah. Okay.
Well, it's pretty inspiring. I think it's a good starting point. My daughter she's studying animation, and she made a game for as one of her projects, right? Like a platform kind of jump side scroller thingy, you know. And she said, "Oh, I need some music from you, and but just something simple, only 2 minutes, you know." And she gave me a link to. Have you played Ori and the Forest, the Dark Forest? I think the side scroller.
Blind Forest. Blind Forest.
Blind Forest, that's it, exactly. Ori and the Blind Forest. A lovely game, you know, very artistic, very kind of moody, very dark, and lots of light in it.
Like kind of like Limbo?
I don't know what Limbo is, so I don't know. But it has an amazing soundtrack, you know, and I listened to it, and it like you can find it on YouTube. You find the whole soundtrack. It's like 1.5 hours of original music, and it's basically orchestra and piano. And I listened to it, and I thought, yeah, I can do that. But you know, like she says, like, yeah, I need the music, but I need it by Friday. You know, she said it to me Sunday night, and I was busy, you know, work and whatnot, you know. So anyway, I got that ref thing, and I thought I'll do it with that, you know, just. Got the Black Friday sale and got it, and literally today I sat down for half an hour, and I'll play you the track I made. This is easier, you know, if I can share the audio. Let me see if I can do it 1 sec. But it's really rough. I didn't mix it or anything. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me just play it. I don't know if that will share now through Winamp. Let's see. Let me see if that shares at all. Okay, wait. I think I need to share my Windows sound. Let's try this. I haven't really orchestrated it yet. Is it playing?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit. My audio cut out, sorry. Probably gonna put some strings on it.
I'm ruining it.
Wait. I'm missing the pizzicati. I thought I had some pizzicato bass on there. I obviously didn't. That must have. And then it loops, right? So it's 1 minute and 22 seconds. You don't have to do much, you know, just the texture mode, you know, Mixolydian, and just do some tinklings, you know. That's it, and that's enough, you know. You don't need to do huge like melodies or whatever, and just have it play, you know. It's so much fun, and I think that if you overthink it, you kind of do too much, you know. You just throw that shit down, and it takes like 20-30 minutes, and you have everything you need for like a game, you know. And then you just need to orchestrate it. That's basically it. But yeah, I thought I'd share that, you know. And I just love that little you know, plugin that does this. They're quite, you know, they probably sound shitty over the stream, to be honest, because like streaming sound is always like shit quality. I haven't found a good way of doing that. Have you got any experience with streaming music live, Flavian?
Oh no, never.
Yeah.
I mean, it must be like probably the fourth stream in which I'm in, so.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah. I mean, it's probably my fourth stream on my channel here. You know, I've partaken in a few. You know, but it's so incredibly hard to get proper sound quality, like for music, to play over. And then if you play anything well known, you'll be copyright stricken or taken down. You know, I love talking about music, but it would be really much nicer if you could play examples, you know, and say, oh, I love this song, let's play a bit, you know. So, you know, we played some King Crimson on the last hangout with Tailed Feature, and it was great. At least it wasn't taken down, but obviously it was demonetized, but, you know, I'm not monetizing anyway.
I'm going to have to head off in a minute.
Okay. You're, hope you don't have to work today.
I need to get some
Lana.
meds, I think.
Oh yeah, well, thanks for joining, Lana. It's great. If it's a good time, we can do another evening, or we could do it like we could alternate it. We could do it once in the morning, once in the evening. I'd have to ask. I don't know if there's anybody on the chat now. Is anybody watching? Type 1 if anyone is watching. I don't know what's a better time. I want to be Australia friendly, you know, but at the same time, I'm aware that there's no.
It's coming up to the end of the school year anyway, so I'll have more time.
I think you have to cut. It's echoing.
You have to cut what?
Yeah, there's
I
some
don't
pretty
know.
bad echo.
The audio is
Oh,
echoing.
that's me. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm stupid. 1 sec. I can't hear that echo for some reason.
Yeah, but it's been good hanging out with everyone. But I gotta go.
Cool.
No, sorry about that. Thanks, Lana. Have a good day.
Bye.
See you, Lana.
Bye. Always a pleasure. Free Press, you've been completely silent for over 3/4 of an hour now.
Yeah.
Putting you on the spot.
I don't really know what to talk about, to be honest.
That's cool. Well, we've been going for let's see. Oh, we have been going for 2.5 hours. I think I'm gonna wind it down now. Anyway, Flavian, it was lovely talking to you, and Free Press, you too. You should come again and to a stream. And if you're working on something and you want me to do some music for you, you know, just maybe play some piano or organ or whatever.
Yeah,
we got Steel Rain.
Flav was gonna. He tried singing the Christmas song in a certain way, but we're not sure that it works. So he might try and sing it in a different way, and we'll see how that goes. And then,
Okay.
I guess we'll talk to you. Maybe you could get some singers too. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Can pool
And you could
some
always
singers.
pitch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I do it anyway with my, you know yourself. I'm not too precious. I'm just happy if I get a vocal and you can understand, and then my process.
You don't want it sounding too robotic, but you also don't want it sounding too human.
No, you don't want it to sound robotic at all. I mean, I'm pretty good at. You know, I mean, it will sound a little bit maybe artificial when you have no music in the background, but in the mix, if you do it right, you're not going to notice it. You know, if you've mixed it well, and I rarely ever use. You know, we're not using like autotune in that sense, just quantize to the nearest semi, or you know, quantize as in, you know, a hard. You know, to that note that the piano tells you it should be, that E flat or that C or that A, because it's wrong. It just doesn't sound right. And especially that sudden jump from one note to the next, the voice doesn't do that. So I always do it manually, always, you know. And oftentimes I shift the note, and I don't quite bring it there. I just do it like gradually, and I often cut off the portions that are out, let's say the attack at the start of the note, and I let it slide in. And so I do it very, very carefully. So if you can hear it, you're not doing it right. You're not supposed to hear it, in my mind. It should just sound like they really sang it that way.
Yeah.
I just don't want to show. I mean, I've shown it before. I've done some on my channel. I have some like where I worked on it. Lana was kind of just watching. It was keeping me company, but it's kind of addictive when you do it. You know, when you really work on the vocals and you really get into it, and you think, oh, it sounds pretty good. You know, it sounds great, and you've done your EQ and your mix and everything. And then you really start paying attention, and you hear this one note, and it's not quite right. I don't know why I didn't catch that before, you know. And you'd spend like 20 hours, 30 hours with that mix, you know, mixing in the instruments and making them sound like real guitars or whatever, you know. And then you listen back, and that vocal is quite, and you just shift one note, and everything suddenly locks into place. It's just really warm. It's just really, ooh, now it works. Like, you know, it's just, it didn't before, but after, it's just, now it's really warm, and it's really, I don't know, it's just, it really pushes through. It's, I don't know, I cannot describe the feeling, you know, but it's really addictive. It's just, and I find that I basically work like 80% of the time I work on the vocals. And I spend very little time playing instruments, or you know, playing piano, you know, parts for my stuff, or like instrument parts. It's usually you listen to some original, you listen 8 times, 9 times, 10 times, and then you play it once, because the work is in the listening. It's not playing. It's always listening. I don't know if that's what you feel as well, Flavian, but I think to understand it, you have to listen to it. And that's your main instrument, your ears.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe... well, here's the thing. I'm a big advocate of ear training. So I don't know, maybe it's because I don't need to put that much effort because I get it quicker, but it's like, yeah, I'm like, when I can listen to something and understand it immediately. Of course, when you really transcribe it, you realize, oh yeah, there was this thing I didn't pay attention to. It's in the music or whatever. Like, yeah, I transcribed Let It Snow. I basically transcribe everything I do. when I make a
That's
cover.
the best way.
Because it's 99% of the tabs on the internet are wrong.
Do you transcribe tabs or do you transcribe notes?
Oh, I transcribe notes. Sometimes I often use Guitar Pro because it's just one of the best musical editor. If you want to go really quick and dirty,
Cool.
it's really, really quick. You can really edit complex scores with it. And yeah, usually for the guitars, the fingerings are just crap because I don't really pay attention to that. I'm not a really good guitar player, but yeah, sometimes I'll do tabs because when it's chords, you have to figure out the fingerings of the chord or something like that. But yeah, basically everything every song I cover, I make a transcription myself. So it's like already that process is kind of done. But yeah, it's like oftentimes I find musicians, sometimes very good musicians, but they don't have a great ear, and I'm like,
that's true.
You should really work on that because it's like it's number one tool,
Yeah.
even for writing music, for composing music. It's like how are you gonna? Because it's like if you stick to the basic rules of harmony, you're not gonna go very far. You have to experiment and stuff, and it's your ear that is gonna guide you on whether it sounds right. So if your ear is shitty, you're gonna make mistakes. Your music is gonna be clumsy.
Yeah, you'll guess the wrong chord. Think it's G major. No, it's E-7 or something. It's just one note. But it gives it a different meaning. It might be E-7 with the G bass or something. But it's definitely E-7. And you think that's different. Like it's a different mode or whatever. But yeah, I found that as well. I mean, I think that there's this thing of kind of listening quickly and just getting the vibe kind of right, but it's not really what they've played, and then the more I find I listen to it very closely, and sometimes it's difficult. Like with guitars, I find it difficult because oftentimes, like there's this one track we're working on this Sixpence None the Richer, and it's fairly simple. It's just a kind of a 4-chord wonder or whatever. The Kiss Me, but then you start listening and you find that they layered 2-3 guitars on top of each other, and they play different voicings. They don't play the same chord. And then there's an overchord on top, and you think, is he playing that on different frets? Is it higher up, or is it just maybe they just did it with EQ? So you start listening into these sonics, and everything's overlapped, and you hear they play slightly different. The main guitar plays a different pattern. It plays like long chords, You have this warm sustain, and then the other guitar is more rhythmical. So you in the beginning you think it's all the same. And then you start listening deeper and deeper, and you kind of split it up like a multi-track recording in your head, because all you have is you have the master, you have the mix, everything's mushed together, and then your ears do that job of dividing everything again. And with guitar you always quadruple double track, triple track, play the same thing 3 times, 4 times, different sounds, So, and I find it very interesting, but I often find I find that interesting, that kind of deep listening when stuff is kind of stacked on top of each other. But also what I find really interesting is when you go to older tracks where they didn't have these depth of tracks. They didn't have like 60 tracks or 80 tracks. They had 24 tracks, or they had they had many less tracks, and they play very little things, but they vary so much. So you think, I got it, you figure out whatever the riff was and you repeat it or whatever, and then you listen to the track again and you compare, and it completely varies. Or you start listening to bass lines, and it's not just, it changes, it constantly changes, and you think like these bass players, though they're so, as musicians, they're so underrated. If you listen back, they don't just play the same thing all over, they make it interesting, it kind of varies. That's what I find like about the deep listening. It's not just about understanding a verse and a chorus. You understand also how it changes over the song, how he builds up certain rules and then he breaks them later on. And maybe he doesn't. I don't know. It's gonna get too technical, but you know what I mean, right? Bye, Steel Rain. He's going. Our last listener.
Bye-bye, dude.
Oh, is Mitch? No, Mitch isn't back. I thought Mitch would come back, but he's probably still fighting with the English internet, or maybe they've come to take him away. Haha. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, there's great musicians, there's great instrumentalists that can play great, but maybe they don't pay much attention to listening, if you know what I mean, to hearing what everybody does in the band. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And and sometimes it's like there's a when I record a band, I mean, I'm not a producer, so but sometimes if I hear that something's wrong, I'm just gonna jump in and say, hey, look, you made a mistake. Like here, if you change this note, you're gonna hear it sounds much better because this note is constructed this and this, you know. And they were like, oh yeah, fuck, that's right, it sounds much better. Like that, you know?
Are you shitting me? We're playing this song for 10 years now.
Yeah. And it's funny when you know they're playing a riff and it's like 5 minutes later you're just playing it on the piano and they're like, you know, oh, it's magic, and I'm like, no, it's just ear training.
Yeah, exactly. You just play it, and you might fix the one note that's wrong. So what I like, I'm more of a producer now because, you know, I'm working with I mean, usually I worked a lot with singer-songwriters, you know, and I'm just getting more into that now on a more commercial kind of. I want to get into it on a commercial level, but I find that like singer-songwriters often have a very limited vocabulary. You know, they might use the same chord all over. They might use it in the chorus and in the verse, and they don't. And partly is because maybe they're not great players. They just know these shapes, you know. They know how to grip a G major on the guitar, let's say. And then I think, that's nice. But yeah, in this case, you might play. So either you add a note and I think, oh, that sounds really magic. That's nice, you know. Maybe G major 7 or something, and it just fits, you know. And I started to think about it more. And paying more attention and going away from always playing in the tonality, you know, in the key, and thinking more about the overall arc of a song, right? So like when you're producing, you're not necessarily thinking of this fine nitty-gritty. You think of this big thing that goes through the song and lifts somewhere, it goes somewhere, and then it ends somewhere else. So it's not like a flat piece of paper that just starts somewhere. It kind of has to go through a development. So you think, okay, what could happen in the chorus? Maybe it could go dark, you know. Or, you know, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it goes really bright in the chorus, and you think, okay, well, then maybe we could instead of this chord, we could take this chord. You know, just turn that into a minor chord. You know, and people say, how did you do that? How did you come up with it? It's very simple. I just wanted to go dark, so I just use a compatible minor chord. You know, it's easy. It's just, you just exchange one note, and you're still in the same key. It works, you know. And people don't understand how do you come up with this? Well, you know, when you're on the keyboard, it's all there, you know. You don't even have to know very much, you know. And okay, then maybe you can start to replace a minor with a major chord and put in a chord, a different note, like go away from the key. But it's quite interesting, like when you think more in terms of, let's say, bright and dark, and not so much in terms of tonality. Suddenly you break out of a prison you were in. Like, that's what I found. Like from the classical prison, you know, it's D major and it has 2 sharps, and so I know all the chords that work with it. You know, oh, it doesn't work anymore because wait a sec, the piano, right? That's all the chords that are allowed, right? Let's switch off the contact there. So, you know, it's D major, E minor, F sharp, minor, G major, A major, B minor, and this weird chord that nobody uses, you know, like C sharp diminished. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying. I'm just saying from the perspective it's from the perspective of somebody who hasn't really started to study music. It's I can't really use it. I don't know what to do with it, And then you learn. Suddenly you start looking at jazz music and you start finding a lot of good uses for these weird chords. Like tritone substitutions, for instance. Anyway, ranting again. I can't. I have to stop.
Well, it's funny because I cannot relate to all that because I don't know why, but it's like even when I was very young and I started to create music on the Amiga, really shitty music, but you've got to start somewhere. I was actually obsessed with breaking. Like it's like I couldn't stay in the same key for more than 3 chords in a row. I had
Let me ask
like,
you
and then I would have to do like this, and it had to be fucking dissonant. Otherwise, I found it extremely boring. But to a point that my music was it was impossible to listen to. It was too much. But I don't know. That was my obsession when I was young, and maybe because I grew up listening to progressive rock because of my older brothers who were big music nerds. So it's like I have to tone that down. Actually, it's not. It's not. I have to go the other way around, and I have to think. Oh yeah,
it's funny. This is all the complete opposite of me. Like I would like from a classical point of view. Okay, I played the Bach, and I know Bach. He goes through an awful lot of tonalities as well. Especially in fugues. And I always prefer. Like if you look at the well-tempered clavier, right? You got the prelude and the fugue, and I always prefer the prelude. I love what I love about the fugues is I love counterpoint. I really love it, but I always think he goes to too many tonalities for my it's too fleeting, you can't get into it. There's no big release, because everything is just equally it's just like a meandering through a labyrinth, right? And if you look at the preludes, it's so much more, I don't know, it's just so much, it feels so much more centered, if you know what I mean. I'm just digging out some notes here. It's more centered, and it seems to have more meaning when you have kind of a tonality to come from and to go to. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but I guess that's what I thought was with pop music as well. You're in a tonality, and you kind of return to it. You're in it in a verse, and then maybe you go somewhere else in the chorus, and you return to it. And one of the bands, I'm a great fan of pop, but I like prog as well. Dixie Tracks.
A little bit.
Yeah, or let's see, Kansas. Let's see.
Oh yeah, Kansas.
Genesis, obviously. I mean, they were pretty wild. Let me see. Prog rock bands. Well, King Crimson, obviously. They're fantastic.
The interesting with King Crimson is that they changed the musical style every 3 years, and they came back. They came back with some almost industrial music in the 2000s, and they made an album in I think it was 2006, 2003. I don't remember. Called "The Power to Believe." It's almost like industrial metal, and this album. That album is absolutely great.
For your taste.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So if someone who's fan of the Crimson King might not like it.
Well, I don't know. Is it similar, or do you like Three of a Perfect Pair?
Yeah, it's a bit more. It's completely instrumental. For one.
Wrong bloody thing. Hang on, guys.
Yeah, go on.
And it's completely instrumental, and it's more. It's a lot darker than Three of a Perfect Pair, but
okay.
It's there's no Tony Levin. There's it's Pat Mastelotto on the drums, Tragan on the bass, and he plays this weird 14 strings guitar.
Okay.
That's basically a bass that you play only in tapping.
And is Robert Fripp still in it?
Yeah, it's still Robert Fripp, the mastermind.
So he's basically the only one who remained from that setup from the original.
Is King Crimson?
Yeah, King Crimson, obviously.
I don't think anybody from the original's there.
Yeah,
they're still
not even Robert Fripp.
It's Robert. obviously. But
Yeah, well, Adrian Belew, he was there in the 80s, but by now he's
that's the
an
best lineup.
older.
Yeah,
What?
I mean, I always loved Adrian Belew. Did you see him? He played with. Did you see Home of the Brave, Laurie Anderson?
No.
That's an
heard of him.
amazing movie. If you've seen Stop Making Sense, maybe Talking Heads, like that's an amazing concert movie, right? But she asked the director of Stop Making Sense of that movie to direct a movie for her, and he said no, you should do it yourself because you can do it better. You can do it yourself. And like Laurie Anderson, she's kind of off the wall, kind of like performance art. Yeah, exactly. And man, you have to watch that movie. That's amazing. Home of the Brave. The problem is you can't get it on DVD. It was released on Laserdisc, a format that died a year later. So you could never get it. You could get it on VHS, but you couldn't get it on DVD. But it's an amazing record, and Adrian Belew plays guitar on it. And on one track, he actually plays the guitar with Japanese chopsticks and fork and knife. And in another song, he has like a rubber guitar. It's kind of, the neck is bendy. It's kind of it's just so wild. It's amazing.
The Japanese chopsticks, I think he got that from Tony Levin because he was actually playing with that on the bass in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
That's different. He's using drum. First, he used drumsticks, and then he got his own unique sticks to play it with, but it wasn't chopsticks.
And did he play? Did he play the bass or did he play the stick with the sticks?
He's
He's the first who played the stick, right?
Got the stick.
Bass.
And it was the bass, yeah.
He does it on Red Rain.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, I was always a big fan. Like Tony Levin, probably one of my favorite.
Peter Gabriel. What about him?
Yeah, of course. Peter Gabriel, I have everything. Peter Gabriel is just.
Do you like a bit of Phil?
It's my god. It's
I like
like
Phil
he's the Mozart of pop music. That's what Peter Gabriel is. Did you hear Us? No, not Us. Sorry. The next one, Up.
What?
The Up. Yeah. Did you hear that?
Oh yeah, Gene 2000. Yeah, I don't like it.
You don't?
No.
It's an amazing. It's the best record he made.
No,
it is definitely the best record he made.
It sounds bloated and overlong.
No, not at all.
It shows that he recorded it over 11, 12 years, something like that.
Yeah, well, it doesn't sound like he produced it alone. If that's what I mean, it's definitely. But to me, it sounds like it's like the ultimate prog rock to me. Like, and it's really emotional, except for the this Williams show, which is a terrible throwaway track that I find is complete shit. But there was kind of the SJWE thing or whatever. But all the other tracks are so amazing. I mean, they're just literally make the. I always thought it's like he put it together so the first track it starts really really quiet and then there's this this noise and he forces you to listen to it at a certain volume where you have to listen to it really loud and then you hear these really quiet parts and it's just there's no other way to listen to it. You have to listen to it with a microscope. That's, I like I love that. It's just okay. Listen to me. If you don't listen to this, you're not gonna get anything of it. You cannot listen to that music on the side.
I've listened to it. I've listened to it a few times. I just don't like it. But I like Growing Up. I like the title track.
It's taste. It's probably taste. It's probably my weird taste.
Either number 3. Or,
which one?
So either number 3. With the I don't remember nor that. Either that one.
The third album, Melt, is it?
I think it's Melt. Yeah. 1980.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty dated by now, but I mean it's Peter Gabriel, so
I say it's far less dated than his most recent one. I think he broke a lot of ground on that one, and that's why it remains timeless. I mean,
his most recent one is Scratch, right? Scratch My Back. The
the cover album.
The orchestral thing.
Did you know, right? When he was making that with Phil Collins, because he drums on it, they met Public Image Limited because they were recording as well. They met Public Image Limited.
Oh, right. Didn't know that.
Yeah, they made friends and everything. That's how he got to know Guy Wobble as well, because he played on a few songs later on, didn't he? Like in the 90s.
Mhm.
And then yeah, that's how they all met. And the album after Tin Metal Box was influenced by this drum sound and the way they did all the drumming, the tribal stuff. So yeah.
I always thought that all that Peter Gabriel stuff and Genesis as well to a point, but like him, I think that he influenced so many musicians. You know that a lot of the sounds that he used, like in the 80s, they were still used 90s, 2000, and influenced a ton of people. I think, and that whole
Phil
approach.
Collins as well, like
The drumming,
the drum thing, the drum sound,
Yeah,
for decades. Well,
yeah, he was a great drummer. He was a great
singer.
drummer.
I mean,
Yeah, I
you know,
don't know.
considering how weak he sounds, he was a good singer. Like there was nobody else could harmonise better than him with Peter. To be fair,
I don't know.
it's kind of like, who do you want to drum behind James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, or some other person? No, you want Lars. 'Cause
Well, you really want to? I don't know, but my favorite drummer in Peter Gabriel.
Come on.
And early was Marotta. Yeah, I thought that was great, but I mean, then Manu Katché came along and he's kind of
Manu Katché is the best
he's just killed it. You know, he completely killed it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I like,
And then Peter Gabriel got into this tribal stuff. You know, this world music, this amazing studio.
That's actually when Manu Katché joined him. I think when he was going the poppy side of that. Yeah.
There was So, right? And then afterwards. And who else? Oh, it's just some great musicians.
I'd say Phil Collins' first studio album on his own is his best one. Because that's actually a bit like number 3, a little bit.
Tell me some tracks on it. I don't know.
Well, there's In the Air Tonight, Misunderstood. And then there's a what's it called now? There's this experimental one. Let me find it.
Okay, well, the thing is, like, he had a knack, like Phil had also a knack for getting some really commercial stuff going, like In the Air Tonight. That's great. I always liked Oh Mama.
That's Genesis. That.
I know it's Genesis, but I'd say
He was
that Phil
good with the
Collins
drum
wrote that
machine.
one.
Both of them are really good with the drum machine.
Yeah, true.
I think it's Droned. It's called Droned. It's like a 2-minute little experiment. It's pretty good.
Shit, I don't know that one. Right, I have to check it out. But you know, I'm not I stuck with Peter Gabriel after Genesis. There was some what was this? I need to check there was quite a good. Let me find it. Quite a good album that Genesis made in the later stages.
Was it Invisible Touch?
Genesis.
Genesis.
Let me find it.
It's self-titled, 83. Abacab. Jeep.
No, later.
What, you mean I Can't Dance? We Can't Dance?
It could be We Can't Dance.
That's the worst Phil Collins one.
But not the We Can't Dance track, obviously. But I think there's.
I know what you mean. Jesus, He Knows Me, maybe.
Jesus. Well, that's on the same album, Jesus He Knows Me, right? I'm not talking.
But not the same, not the song. Right, let's go to the Genesis discography. All right. So there's the early ones: A Trick of the Tail, Wind and Wuthering.
It must be We Can't Dance. Like. Okay, like, I know it has these terrible commercial tracks on it, right? We Can't Dance, but there is a couple of really great, like, moody kind of progressive rock pieces on it where I thought,
Driving the Last Spike.
Yeah,
Lights.
exactly. Yeah. Those ones, you know, and they went into the same kind of area what I thought where Sting went after Dream of a Blue Turtle, right?
I'm not really familiar with
like that.
After that. To be fair, with Sting, like, I like The Police and like his early solo stuff, but
it's
I didn't get into it after that.
I'm an old guy, you know, so I like boring music. I mean, you know, Sting is always accused of being boring, but if you listen to like. If you listen to like as a musician, right? If you listen to, let's see, where is it? Soul Cages, great album, fantastic album, and it's like again, it's the concept album. You know, we prog rock guys, we like concept albums, everything. And that was when his father died. So he had the hit from that was.
It won't call Sting prog, but you know.
Let me see. All This Time, that was the hit.
Oh yeah, I know that one, yeah.
Such a happy track, you know, and that I really like that. I really like that album. It's just it had something epic about it, you know, and he has a fucking amazing neck with chords. He's like his harmonies are just amazing, you know. And then later on, what I liked was Mercury Falling. Right, I hung my head. Okay, I know I didn't know that was actually sung by what's his name? You know, the country singer. John.
There's a few of them.
You know, I hurt myself today.
Wait, is it
Johnny Cash? Johnny Cash, right? Johnny Cash.
Was it?
Oh. Yeah, I hung my head, right? But it's an amazing track. It's just amazing. I just wish I could play it for copyright, you know. But what he did is, I just play the first few bars, maybe, you know, less than 20 seconds, because can you hear it?
Yeah.
Banana, you know. Sorry, but I think it's a 7 rhythm, you know. It's this weird thing, you know. So at the end you always do this double take, you know. The bar isn't finished. There's an extra half beat, or there's a half beat too little, you know. Love that shit. And then he sings this really kind of gospel-y kind of soul thing over it, like it's nothing, like it's just normal, you know, nothing to see here. It's just a country song. I hung my head. That just gripped me, like just reached into my heart and just ripped it out when I heard it. Just, what the fuck? How did he do this? You know?
Do you like Dire Straits? You got like Dire Straits.
I like Dire Straits, although they can be a little bit boring at times. You know, they're a little bit too straightforward. You know, yeah, because they're just too. You know, the tonality. They stay in the harmony. They just stay in there and they stay in there forever. You know, it's like Raikuder. You know, it's just this. I find these 2 chords and they're really sonic and they're nice, and then I go on for 15 minutes or 7 minutes. You know, and it's not going anywhere. You know, but when I listen to Sting, it's like it's constantly, there's very exciting things happening in the harmonies, you know, all these really sweet, nourishing, kind of tasty chords that just change. And then I tell you another one. I mean, you're gonna laugh at me, but one of the greatest bands in my mind, the Nickelback of pop music, as Paul Watson calls them, Coldplay. They're amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I'm not saying this is like highfalutin, greatly composed music, but they have a complete and utter knack for hook lines and harmonies. You know, their music works. They have the best producers in the world. And you know, I can only say that a third time. They have the best produced music in the world. You know, they're working anything. Yeah, I mean, exactly, Brian Eno, but they also have Brower. They have the best mixers and the best producers. So it's not just like producing the music like from the Sonics, but you know, really making it as loud as possible and as clear as possible. Amazing, you know. But anyway, what I really liked about the band, and I always liked it, even in the early stage, you know, X and Y and even Parachutes. I don't rate it greatly, but still, you know, all the albums they did afterwards, you listen to like the way they develop and lay out a chorus and a verse, and then in the end they change some chords. So it's the same thing, but they change the meaning slightly, and they just bring in this brightness, and they kind of, hey, we turn it around a little bit, you know, and you can play that music, you can play that on the piano, on the guitar, on anything, and sing the song, and it'll always work. It doesn't need that production. So that's, to me, is great songwriting. You know, if it works on anything, you can play that on a ukulele, and everybody will still, you know, it still works. That's good. To me, that's good songwriting. Yeah. Full stop, you know. And it's not Nickelback. But then, I mean, who would consult Paul Watson about music anyway?
I know. Who would consult him about anything?
True. But yeah, I mean,
Does he even listen to music? Does he even watch TV or films or anything like that?
I don't know. Who cares? But there was an underrated album by Coldplay, Ghost Stories. Do you know that one?
Is that the new one?
No. It's older. The new one is A Head Full of Dreams. Pretty
Oh,
good.
is that the one with Fix You or whatever it is? I don't know.
Fix You is it's super old. Like it's 10 years old.
Is that yellow?
Yeah, parachutes and then X and Y. But
Yeah.
A Head Full of Dreams is the one. Well, there's a really nice track. There's this one with the monkeys. What's it called? Let me see. Hymn for the Weekend, I think. Yeah, that one. Hymn for the Weekend. It's got this great hook line, but that's the commercial track. But there's a really nice track called Up and Up, which I quite like. It's very kind of gospel-y, you know. But going back before that, and that's probably a really commercial album, but before that was Ghost Stories, and that's really subtle, very, very easy listening, extremely easy listening. But it's very gentle and very loud at the same time. The opposite of techno. You could say that if you listen to techno, let's say, what's his name, Scooter or something like that. It's a German techno guy, so I don't know much techno. But it's just, or maybe let's say The Prodigy, maybe something like that.
Prodigy's not techno, that's house music.
No, I know that it's not techno, but I'm just saying something really that's really harsh, in your face. Then that album is on the very other side, on the opposite side. It's just super smooth. It's just super, the baby can listen to it kind of thing, But it's just sonics, and just nourishing, sweet sonics, What can I say? But to me, as a musician, very interesting because they always have these chord progressions where you think, okay, like, okay, maybe that's something that Paul McCartney would have written after breakfast, maybe, I don't know, but certainly nobody else. It's just, these golden chord progressions. I don't know. Fuck, I'm ranting again. Don't get me started. But it's also frustrating because I can't play you any of the tracks, I could convince you, but we should go offline anyway. It's been 3 hours. We're gonna go offline and then I can play you some tracks. How's that? So everybody say goodbye to whoever is still listening or who's going to listen to us in the future.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna leave you guys.
Yeah, I've got to go now.
Everybody's going anyway, so that's great.
Sorry about that.
Well, thanks guys for joining. Flavian, Mitch, cool, and Free Press.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. So I'll do this. I'll try my hand at it for a few more Wednesdays and try not to bore everybody to tears. Okay, that's cool. Nice. Well, thanks and good night, everyone. I'm just gonna go offline now.
Oi.
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 How do I hang up? I never know how to. There.